Hi, everybody. Does it sound okay? Sound okay? We sound good? You good? Sound good? All right. Ready? Everybody ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. I am ready. Are you ready? Are we doing this yet? Are we doing it? Or does it sound okay? What's happening? Why is this happening? What's happening? It's not happening. Not happening. It's happening. Wait, now it's happening. Are you guys ready? Ready. Ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for a bong hit. Who's ready for a bong hit? I'm ready for a bong hit. Seems like a nice way to start the day, start your show, start whatever it is you have to start. Nice, fatty bong hit, you know, and you go, oh, I feel much better now. I think we can proceed as planned. We can proceed as planned now. Okay, so, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I get really, really, really uptight watching so-called public servants and so-called representatives calling Americans domestic terrorists. It just bothers me to the core. I don't know, man. I don't know if you guys feel this way too, but I can't. I really, really, really can't stand that. So, it does this thing to me on the inside where it's like, I just feel it makes my skin crawl. You know, it makes me feel like there's evil doers calling good people evil, and I just despise these people who want to act like they have zero responsibility for why good Americans might be angry at the House of Representatives, the House of so-called representatives. You know, why would good Americans be so upset? You know, well, we have zero responsibility. It's 100% on Donald Trump. What a load of shit. Now I hear on the news, okay, I have a news story here. They're saying that the protesters now have IEDs. The FBI is warning, law enforcement that the protesters may be, and this is really important, is that when you hear these fucking cunt newsreaders, the news model bullshit fake fucking motherfuckers, when you hear them say may or could, know that they don't, that this is a bullshit. They're saying it may rain $100 bills tomorrow, but I'm not counting on it. It'd be real nice, but I'm not counting. I haven't gotten any donations since Friday, I think we did some pretty good work so far this week. I'm not counting on it. It may rain $100 bills. It could tomorrow be the 10-foot high snow levels, but I don't think that's going to happen. Do you? It could, it may. But anyways, they're saying that they're now warning the officials, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI is warning that protesters may now be armed with IEDs, improvised explosive devices. In case you're not familiar with that term, IEDs. That's who they're making protesters into now. Do we have any other? Drone footage? Because I'd like some new drone footage. But that again, I have the story about that here. One of the protesters at the U.S. Capitol, one of the occupiers of the U.S. Capitol, has now been identified as a former U.S. Olympian, medal-winning U.S. Olympian, someone that, so we're seeing veterans, we're seeing police officers, we're seeing all of these so-called patriotic type people being labeled as domestic terrorists by pieces of shit like Nancy Pelosi and all the other members of Congress. And any one of those pieces of shit that labels somebody a good patriotic American, a veteran, an Olympic athlete, a domestic terrorist, those people are clearly the enemy, because that's how they see you. If they can see veterans that way, if they can see police officers that way, just throw around that word like it has no real meaning, terrorist. That's how they see you. And that means that the real threat to you is those people. Those people who are so-called representatives. They're there to protect your rights. They're to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Those people are labeling good, patriotic type Americans as domestic terrorists, and it disgusts me beyond almost anything that I can imagine. You know, I mean, going to war based on lies to murder 1 million innocent Iraqis so that fucking Dick Cheney can get way more rich than he ever dreamed. You know, it makes me want to vomit till I die. But seeing these, you know, Americans labeled as domestic terrorists, because they're just like, they're muddying the water with this word. Like, you know, number one, if you're attacking your government, I don't think you're a terrorist, okay? If you're attacking your government, you know, with a group of others saying, hey, representative government, why won't you listen to what we're saying? Why do you completely ignore us 24/7? You know, I think you have every right in the world. I think that's what this country is supposed to be about. Is that, yes, of course you can go. Now, if you go and attack, you know, the AT&T building in Nashville on Christmas Day with a big fucking bomb, well then, yeah, you know, if somebody labels you a terrorist, they're kind of like, okay, they're not really, you know, I mean, they're not being wishy-washy with this word, you know, that guy kind of fits the description. These other people, these police officers, these veterans, they're there doing what they think is best for America. You know, and those are the kind of people we want in America. You know, the ones that are willing to fight for it. Not people like Donald Trump, who says, oh, no one, you know, fucking Alex Jones is so right about Donald Trump. He is just a giant nutless wonder. And you guys know I don't like Donald Trump to start with. But, I mean, you know, now more than ever, he should be, because, and why? He has absolutely nothing to lose, right? I mean, now more than ever, he should be fighting for the support of the people, and he's acting like, oh my God, Deutsche Bank won't do business with me anymore. He should be fighting for the people, for the people's rights, for the people's freedom, so that he has that support moving forward. But instead he's like, oh yeah, people that are actually supporters of our movement would never, ever, what, fight the good fight so that they don't lose their government as you instructed. Now we have to fight more than ever. What happened to that Donald Trump? Right? Because that Donald Trump never existed. Okay? That Donald Trump is a lie, a phony, a fake, like every other fucking politician. Okay? You put your faith in these politicians, and the next thing you know, they go, oh no, Hillary clearly won fair and square. Fucking Bernie Sanders, fuck you. You know, Hillary didn't win fair and square. We all know she didn't win fair and square. Joe Biden didn't win fair and square. There's definitely shenanigans going on with the Joe Biden. I mean, you know, Facebook, Twitter, you know, all these giant fucking information hubs wouldn't even, you know, all the media refused to report on Hunter Biden leading up to the election, you know, and all the corruption there, you know, which I don't really, you know, Hunter, you have a kid, maybe he's a dick, you know, I mean, I don't know, but there's some shit there that should be at least be able to be reported on, you know, and they act like, oh no, the American people are not allowed to see this information. And they label it fake. And when some good American, some hardworking, patriotic American tries to say, "Hey, look at what's actually happening that the media won't discuss," and Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, they just fucking shut you down. You didn't ever exist. You didn't post fucking 65,000 videos on YouTube. That never happened. Right? So anyways, if you guys want to call, the numbers right there on the screen. It's 805-669-6397. It's a beautiful day today in Seattle after just a horrific storm last night. It just dumped rain and just blew wind. Like, before I went to bed, I had to go, and there's like a kind of a ditch in front of our house. You know, it has like a waterway kind of thing. I had to go and pull the trash cans out of the fucking ditch because today's trash day. In the dumping, pouring rain and blustery wind. One of my neighbors said a giant limb fell in their backyard, and he's had 2 neighbors helping him clear it for the last few hours. What's up, caller?
Hello. Hi, my name is Jordan. I'm from Olympia.
Uh-huh.
And I'd like to talk about this Olympian that went to Washington, D.C.
Uh-huh. You mean talking about the bronze, the silver medal winner Olympian?
Right. That's what I want to talk about.
Uh-huh.
So, I was reading into some of the stuff, and what I was thinking is that I don't really know exactly what's going on with it, so I was reaching out to you, and I wanted to know more about this story.
Okay, well, people went to the U.S. Capitol, and they occupied the House of Representatives in protest. And some of them were police officers, and many of them were veterans, and there was even an U.S. Olympic athlete there who won a silver medal protesting, and they're all now being labeled domestic terrorists by members of Congress and the media.
By the members of Congress and the media and everybody in the Olympic Committee?
I don't know about the Olympic Committee. I haven't read anything about the Olympic Committee.
The Olympic Committee, the Global Olympic Committee, that is a committee that you really should know about, because if you were out there and you won the silver, but you were supposed to win the gold, I feel like you should have been there today.
Okay.
Or yesterday.
Okay. Well, it's good that we got your opinion in. I believe your phone line is cutting out. So
it's not cutting out. I have a really good phone line.
You can call back if you want. Anytime. Thanks a lot for calling. It's good to hear from you. Okay, so, let's see. We have, again, this is a call-in show. I'm very interested in you guys' opinions. And I don't want you to think that I'm a dick of a host. If you watch, I can be. But if you watch last night's show, you'll see one of the callers was very impressed with the way that I handled the hosting of this show. So, let's see. If you want to call, the number's right there, and I want to talk about this because I think that this is an important discussion to have. You know, these people who commit evil in your name with your tax dollars on a regular basis, daily basis. You know, these people that chip away at your freedom after taking a sacred vow, an oath to protect your freedom and the Constitution. They chip away at it day in, day out. And then they label people who are actually public servants Veterans, police officers, not some phony fucking 4 martini lunch cocksucker, who calls themselves a representative. It's I can't stand these people, labeling good Americans protesting their government, demanding their government be held accountable. I can't stand them being labeled domestic terrorists. Now, anyone who wants their government held accountable, the U.S. government, anyways, held accountable as a terrorist. Well, then I've been a fucking terrorist for a long time, because I've been screaming about holding these motherfuckers accountable for a long, long time, anywhere I could, on every soapbox available, and you guys bloody well know it. So. And I can't stand them throwing around this word terrorist. Should be reserved for very fucking specific individuals. And all day long I heard these fucking cunts in the House of Representatives using the word terrorist about Americans, police officers, veterans, Olympic medalists representing the United States. They're calling them domestic terrorists. Meanwhile, they don't do the people's business at all in the people's house. And why do they call them domestic terrorists? Because they took back the people's house. Because they demanded that they hear their voices. And they took back the people's house. And because it works very well for them politically, it divides people. Oh yeah, they're terrorists. I want to hear from one of you people who think that the people who occupied the U.S. Capitol, the House of Representatives, I want to hear from one of you who thinks that they're terrorists. Because I didn't see them blow anything up. I didn't see them set anything on fire. Okay, all I did was see them take the people's house back from the criminals who currently claim to be our representatives. Trying to hold people accountable. That's what America should be about. That's what any decent person should be about who lives under a corrupt government. But we don't have those kind of people here. Anybody who has the ability to fight, the actual ability, meaning the money and the manpower to fight, they don't fight. All they care about is making a profit. People like Donald Trump, he doesn't fight to get a better government. He's never fought. All he's done is bought politicians. He said it himself I own a couple of senators myself. All he's ever done is bought politicians so that the rules don't apply to him. So that the rules can be bent in his favor. Okay? We need genuinely good people. I know that America's filled with genuinely good people. And we just wind up every day. It just becomes, they're domestic terrorists. Oh, we got to put a label on them that makes it so that they're evil or they don't count or they should have their rights stripped away. I want to put on no-fly list immediately. They want to do that with all of you terrorists. All of you good people. I didn't mean to call you terrorists. It just kind of slipped out. That's how they think of you. You're all fucking terrorists now. You're all fucking terrorists. Doesn't matter if you're a veteran. Doesn't matter if you're a police officer. If you speak out against this country, against this corrupt government, because I'm not speaking out against this country. I love this country. I love the people of this country. I want the people of this country to take back a government that's out of control. I want that more than anything. But I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, 0 doubt, the people will never take control of their government as long as it's filled with people calling themselves Democrats or Republicans. Never take control. Because those evil pieces of shit are controlled by the wealthy and the elite. They always have been. They always will be. And that's what these people who occupied the House of Representatives were doing. They were taking it back from people they see as evil doers. People who do evil in your name, in the good name of America, with your tax dollars. Ruining any future that your children have. Just ripping it away. And why? Because it's politically beneficial to them. Why are they impeaching Donald Trump? For freedom of speech? Because he said something? Why are they impeaching? Because they're terrified that he's going to run for president again in 2024. And that after the shenanigans that were pulled during this election, that anyone that runs against him will be crushed. Just as they took back the House of Representatives the other day. This is the people. And I despise Donald Trump. I don't think anything good about Donald Trump. And it's so simple why I think that. Donald Trump has been given everything on a gold platter. He has absolutely zero reason to have a chip on his shoulder. Everything on a gold platter. And think about all the good when you have millions and millions, hundreds of $millions at your disposal, all the good you could do in the world. And the only thing that Donald Trump has ever tried to do good for is Donald Trump. So I despise Donald Trump. He could have been a good human being and instead chose to be a worthless example of fucking garbage. But that being said, I want accountability in the elections. I want accountability for our politicians. I want evil done in the good name of America stopped now at any means whatever possible. And I think the occupation of the House of Representatives, of the People's House, was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I'm very happy those people were there. So let's catch you all up. Here we go. The last caller was asking about more information on the U.S. Olympian that's now being called a domestic terrorist, and I will play that clip for you now so that we're all caught up to speed and on the same page. And I'll be right back, and we'll do another bong hit, okay? Sound like fun? Does to me. Be right back.
The nationwide manhunt tonight, finding and arresting rioters, recovering multiple firearms and a cooler containing Molotov cocktails. Among those arrested, an Olympic gold medal swimmer, and news a former Navy SEAL has been questioned. ABC's Martha Raddatz tonight with late reporting.
Tonight, across the nation, scores of arrests have been made in connection to the Capitol insurrection. Federal prosecutors submitting chilling new evidence. In the case against Lonnie Kaufman, now in custody, authorities seizing from Kaufman's truck multiple firearms, a crossbow, and a cooler containing particularly lethal homemade Molotov cocktails. Investigators saying Kaufman had a handwritten note of potential targets. Kaufman pleading not guilty to numerous weapons charges. And tonight, Robert Keith Packer, arrested in Newport News, Virginia. Law enforcement saying he was the rioter wearing a hoodie with the words Camp Auschwitz on it. Retired Reserve Navy SEAL Adam Newbold of Ohio has been interviewed by the FBI after saying online he wanted lawmakers to be left shaking in their shoes. ABC News obtaining a copy of this now deleted Facebook video.
There was destruction breaching the Capitol, our building, our house.
Newbold now says he regrets being in the crowd. And 2 off-duty police officers from Virginia have been charged after posting this selfie with an obscene gesture inside the Capitol. There are additional names, many shocking. U.S. Olympic gold medalist Cleet Keller charged today. Keller, who won swimming medals in 3 summer games, including Athens in 2004.
Keller of the United States.
New York Times reporting former swimmers and coaches coming forward after spotting Keller in a video posted on Twitter from Town Hall. Keller resigned from his commercial real estate job Tuesday. And USA Swimming telling ABC News, we in no way condone the actions taken by those at the Capitol last week. and some even turning in their own family members. 18-year-old Helena Duke recognizing her mom, aunt, and uncle among the mob. Helena called her mom out on Twitter with these side-by-side photos.
And if I did nothing, I felt that I was as bad as them.
And the military very disturbed about the involvement of several veterans in the insurrection. The Army tonight giving a very stern and sober warning, saying the nation expects all members of the U.S. Army to follow the law in or out of uniform and remain examples of professionalism, character, and integrity. And David, extraordinary that they had to be reminded.
No question about that. All right, Martha Raddatz live from our nation's capital tonight. Martha, thank you. We are learning this evening of new concerns with the inauguration approaching. The nation's capital and state capitals in all 50 states on high alert. The intelligence, the chatter that's now been picked up about potential plots in the works. And tonight, that growing show of force around the Capitol, thousands of National Guard troops for the inauguration. Already on duty, many are now armed. Here's our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, with what he's learned tonight.
Tonight, exactly 1 week since the insurrection and 1 week until inauguration, the threat intensity rising. ABC News has learned that authorities are monitoring up to 10 organized events by demonstrators coming back to Washington. The some are calling a week of siege, warning that one group is promising the largest armed protest on American soil. Another event is planned to, quote, capture and detain Democratic politicians and set up a new government to try and convict congressional Democrats. Their goal, quote, eliminating the Democrat ideology from America forever. ABC News also obtaining an FBI bulletin with specific details about emboldened violent Trump supporters who ransacked the Capitol last week and now plan to return. The Secret Service's massive security operation ramping up earlier than planned. From the Supreme Court to Pennsylvania Avenue, the nation's capital now Fortress Washington.
Officials are concerned about everything from aerial attacks to guns on the ground. 20,000 National Guardsmen will be here by Inauguration Day.
In the basement of the Capitol building, armed National Guardsmen seen resting between shifts. Security ramping up at all 50 state capitals, too. The FBI and Homeland Security reportedly most concerned about violence in Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, election battleground states where there's a considerable presence of armed militias.
A lot of concern tonight, and Pierre, President-elect Joe Biden has been briefed on these threats.
He was briefed today by the FBI and Secret Service. According to his transition team, he was told about the potential for additional violence in the coming days. The team says Biden is taking the threats incredibly seriously. But, David, tonight it's unclear whether there will be any changes to inauguration security.
All right, Pierre Thomas tonight, thank you. And we turn now to the pandemic.
Okay, so you guys know. You guys ready for a bong hit? I'm ready for a bong hit. Follow me and do exactly as you see. You guys know I've been saying my terrorist event radar is going off like crazy, right? Okay, so you guys know for about a month or so. Hold on. I think that's a record, by the way. 2 dabs in the first half hour. Anyways, we're setting records daily here at Mox News, so you know. I've been telling you now for about a month or so that my terrorist event radar has been going off like crazy, like telling me that there's, something's not right, something is in the works. And I only bring it up so that you guys know, what is if something like that's going to happen, and I know about it, and I don't tell you this, it's not really fair. And I don't know that something like that's going to happen, but I have this feeling that there's this and now what I see is I see all of these National Guard troops in place, right, around all the capitals, state capitals, everywhere across the United States. They have the National Guard because police aren't good enough to protect the U.S. capitals. Apparently, for some reason, the people are angry at their politicians, and the National Guard's being called out to protect the politicians, and we've been showing you clips of this, the whole thing. But what I'm seeing is everything's kind of in perfect place right now for what you would call a false flag to happen. Because if there was a false flag event, then the politicians can come out and just basically rape the Constitution, take away all of our shit, and they have all this protection that's already in place. So, it's not like the people are going to be able to get to us. They have the troops. They probably have the troops surrounding politicians' homes or something. I don't know what the fuck is happening, but what I see is that everything is in kind of perfect position for something big to happen, and I think it's important that I share that with you so that you guys know what I see happening. Now that being said, I would love to talk with somebody. Anybody about anything. You guys can see the number on the screen right there, right? It's like 805-669-6397. In French, that's 805-669-6397. I mean, they don't use different numerals, right? They use the same numerals in France as they do in England and other places. They're not in some kind of weird V's and I's and L's and shit, right? So you guys can see the motherfucking number. Call the motherfucking number so we can have a motherfucking discussion about the motherfucking idiots taking away our motherfucking freedom. Otherwise, what's the point? Me just talking? Because I can do that, but, or we could just do another bong hit or something. That sounds pretty good. What? It's really a very pretty day today. I saw a giant eagle. We went out, me and the pooches went out for a walk, and we're saying hello to people, and we're walking around, and I'm picking up dog shit, and a couple of the neighbors walking by said, "Hey, do you see the eagle up there in the tree?" And I was like, "Where?" I got my hand trying to look at dog shit and no, where's the eagle? And right there. And I couldn't see it because there was a tree in front of me and that wasn't in front of them. So I was like, is it high? Is it low? Is it where I can't tell? And that's right there at the top of the tree. So I finally saw it. I was like, oh, wow. It's just giant eagle. I don't know what it's doing up there. And it's waiting for the crows to come. Because the crows are going to come and chase it away any minute now. And a minute later, there's ah, rah, rah, rah. Hello, caller.
Hello, Michael. This is Steve motherfucking McClanahan.
Steve,
reporting to you live.
Steve, we don't use language like that here at Mox News.
What, motherfucking?
What did I just say, Steve?
Oh, sorry. I promise I won't fucking say that anymore.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Knock it off.
What, the shit?
That's what I said.
Knock this fucking shit off?
Dude, do you have something to say, or are you just going to curse over and over again?
Well, no, I'm just, wondering what words I'm not allowed to say on, the program currently.
When have you not been allowed to say words, Steve? I'm just waiting for you to say an actual...
motherfucking shit?
I'm waiting for you to say something that matters, or you have something to say, or did you just call the wine and curse?
Well, Black Lives Matter, apparently. I've heard that. I've heard that a lot.
All lives matter.
Apparently.
All lives matter. Day after day, I fight for everyone.
Well, dude, you know what? Apparently,
you're
wrong.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, you're wrong.
Uh-huh.
Because And I'm not even going to say it again because I don't want to be censored by, the whole fucking goddamn global elitist. And I'm reporting to you live from over here in Washington, D.C., okay?
You are. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, there's a curfew, so I have to be in my hotel room. I've been out here
What
between
time?
the
What time is the
Capitol
curfew at?
and the Senate. Congress and all these people over here, they're trying to do a bunch of bullshit over here. Do you know about this?
What time is the curfew at? You can hear the words coming out of my mouth, right? You speak it English?
It's 6 o'clock. That's the curfew. It's 6 o'clock on the dot. And so Steve McClanahan is abiding by the rules.
Well, good. I hope you enjoy a nice room service dinner then, Steve.
Excuse me.
Thanks for calling. Okay. So, Steve McClanahan in Washington, D.C., enjoying a nice room service dinner, apparently. Hello, caller.
Hey, Moxie, what's up? This is the newsman. I'm very frustrated tonight.
Well, tell us about your frustration, dude.
Everything's caving in. That's the end of the country. It's just going downhill from here.
Okay, wait, start over. What did you say? You said, I didn't hear what
I said the country's going downhill. Where do we go from here? I mean, I guess it's just survival time, isn't it?
I don't understand what you mean. The country is going down. Look, I was just talking just minutes ago before I got on the phone with you saying about what a beautiful day it was and how I saw this giant eagle today and all these wonderful things. And then you call and like, everything's shit, man.
Well, actually, that's nice to hear that because, people around where I'm at, it's just so down around here. I mean, nobody even tells me about nothing, and they don't even say they saw a nice eagle today, so it was nice to hear that.
Yeah, I saw a giant eagle. I take the dogs out every day for a walk, rain or shine, and it's, I live in a rainforest. It's like this wonderful thing. And there's all these, the problem is that people don't understand that the underlying fabric of this existence on this planet is basically joy, okay? And the reason that they're not experiencing that is because they're not in this moment. They're frustrated with something that happened 6 hours ago in Washington, D.C., or they can't stand the idea, is this going to happen tomorrow? I'm very frustrated that people are calling Americans terrorists. I'm very frustrated about that. And I think it's wrong, and that's why I'm having this discussion, and you're sensing the frustration about that. But I don't think everything's gone to shit, dude. I think that there's so much. I think there's so much in the world that we don't appreciate, and that it's sad that we miss out on the good stuff that's going on in our world. So. And you got to focus.
Yeah, look at you, and look at how you can just float across like a drone and right over that beach right there with those people laying in the sunshine.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you there's some hot chicks down there too. What do you think?
My experience has been everywhere you go, there's hot chicks.
Anyway, you're right. There's a lot to look forward to at times too. But I mean, the darkness that's upon the land now with this. Where the darkness just oozes out of Washington, D.C. That's the problem, isn't it? Right there,
The problem is that we're being misled by evildoers. That is the problem.
Yeah, there are a lot of evildoers. There's no doubt about it.
Well, they're just in it for themselves, is what it is. And if you're just in it for yourself, when you're in a position where you could be making a difference for so many people, and you vowed to protect those people's rights, and you've made a vow to protect those people's rights, and then you do, and you just don't represent anyone in the working class. I mean, that's an evildoer by definition.
Yeah, it is, because that reminds me of something that's in the Bible. The hire of the laborers are kept back by fraud, and rich men steal all that. And it's pretty sad because every 4 years they promise this and that, and they never come true. So here's the deal. Is the Trump church, the Trump evangelicals, are Are they going to save us? Is the promises going to come to pass from all these prophets and prophetesses that Trump's going to get a second term, or is that all BS?
I think the vast majority of the people who saw Trump as some kind of fighter who's going to fight and win our freedom back are very disappointed at the moment. And they're not disappointed by the Democrats or the impeachment. They're disappointed by Donald Trump being a nutless wonder, as Alex Jones described him 2 days ago.
What do you think about all these diapers that everybody's wearing on their face over there? Doesn't that look ridiculous? And then Nancy's going to charge them $5,000 if they don't walk through the metal detectors and all this.
I think the whole thing is pretty, I look, it's obviously out of control. Everything's out of control. It's basically burning itself to the ground. They're showing themselves for the true fucking scumbags that they are, calling, patriotic type Americans, domestic terrorists, when they didn't blow anything up and they didn't burn anything down, and they could have caused a hell of a lot of damage and did just the opposite. They're being called domestic terrorists, by people who do evil every day in their names, simply because somehow they're threatened by the fact that they might actually now be held accountable. That's what this is all about.
I just thought of something extremely important that we're not talking about. Who shot that Babbitt lady? Did they ever find out?
I have not heard who shot her, no.
Why didn't we find out yet? Because we know of all the police shootings and all these other shootings, who shot who, and that's always headlines, but who the hell shot that woman in that door?
Yeah.
Why aren't we hearing that? Why aren't we finding out? Why don't we know who that is yet? Who is that?
Because it was murder, and they don't want to put that person up for public trial or something, it was clearly murder, and somehow they're trying to shield that person's identity from, exposing them and their families to whatever.
Now, let me just ask you an honest question. If that would have been a black girl, would there have been an uprising?
I don't think so, because they're not people, they're terrorists.
Oh, that's right.
They don't deserve a trial, they don't deserve a lawyer. We can kill them on sight.
You know what else is confusing is when they talk about people of color, because white and black, I looked it up, and white and black are not colors, they claim it. And by definition, the only colors are the Roy G. Biv of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So if people are people of color, where's the orange person? Where's the yellow? Where's the green? Where's the indigo? And where's the violet people? I'd like to see some violet people. You ever seen any violet people?
There's a lot of bright blue people, but I don't know about violet so much.
But people of color would be Roy G. Biv, not the white and black.
Well, look, this is just some kind of weird thing to. I don't want to get lost in a kind of a meaningless debate about that. No, I know
that. But I just thought I'd mention because I looked it up the other day.
What I see is happening. It's very strange, right? Is that if you look at all the cars on the road, right? There's no color in the cars, right? They have all the colors. We technologically we can make a color. Any cars look any way we want now, and all I see is white, black, and silver cars, and basically there's no colors. You see a fucking an actual bright red car, and you're like, whoa, what is that?
No cussing on your show.
Hey! Stop telling me what to do.
I'm kidding.
It's very odd to me. I was asking my friend who has a very nice classic BMW the other day, why silver is such a popular color when it's not actual like a color. There's nothing there. You can't really see it. You know what I mean? As opposed to blue or yellow or whatever. I really like. I really like color. You want to see
color? Look at that beautiful picture behind you. You get out there in that beautiful area of yours with all the mountains and the eagles out there that are flying around. Them eagles are big. I had an eagle on my lake a couple months back when the ice was just starting, and them things, man, they're huge. You don't realize how big they are.
That one today was giant, man. You could see him just like sitting up in the tree, and he just looked like, just like this giant fucking thing up in the tree. Like, whoa! Because he's right at the top of the tree. And then he, as we were walking home, he flew basically right over our heads and just kept heading the direction we were going. And his wingspan was just like unbelievable. I mean, it just looked like a plane, a mini drone or something.
Well, we're going to hang in there. I appreciate your broadcast. I'm just kind of hanging on my broadcast, too, now. I'm just kind of sitting here. We were trying to get people... it's so hard to get people to talk to each other today, it seems. Do you find that? I mean, it seems like people are just so difficult lately, isn't it?
People are stressed out and afraid 7 ways from Sunday, man. And, and it just keeps being piled on top, more and more and more. Fear. And then on top of the fear, we have the misprogramming and the misinformation. And it's just, I just basically cut everybody I can slack, because I say hello to everybody when we're walking, when I walk the dog, and like everybody in my neighborhood basically knows me, just because I say hi. And I honestly think I've made the neighborhood a way more friendly place by doing that to everyone. But what I found is that there's every once in a while there'll be new people, and I'll say hi, and they just like look at their phone, or they just kind of turn away or whatever. And it's such a strange thing. It's like, oh well, obviously you're not from here. Where are you from? And I have the dog, so I'm very softening the blow. It's not like I'm some panhandler, going, hey, what's up?
I got a question about walking dogs, because I'm allergic to dogs, but I know a lot of you guys like dogs. Are they really a chick magnet?
Well, it's not so much chicks as people. Like I said, it really softens the blow. Everybody loves dogs, dude. So it's like and the people who don't like the dogs, like these are very, very friendly dogs. So they like come up to everybody and say, hey, what are you doing? And when people are like, oh, can't touch dogs, can't touch dogs during the pandemic, it's like you can tell who's cool and who's not cool right away, So.
Right. Well, like I said, I appreciate your show. Just wanted to jump in here and say hello.
Right on. It's always good to hear from you, man. Call back anytime.
You bet, man. All right, sounds good.
Okay. See ya.
All right, bye-bye.
Stay cool. We'll get through it. And that's really the message, is that if we just stay cool, we get through it. If you lose it, then you might not get through it, right? But if you stay cool and you try and focus, try and recognize that there is good. This is, everything's going to shit. No, it's just these horrible politicians that are trying to lead us down this trail of shit that makes you think that things are going that way. But it's not how the world is around us. You can look around yourself right now and recognize that not everything's going to shit. It could definitely be worse than this. Hello, caller.
Hello, Max.
What's up, G?
Nothing much. Just calling just to talk about what's going on.
Who is this?
This is Jay from Texas.
Hey, Jay. Thanks a bunch for calling. It's nice to hear from you. There's a lot going on. I've been very vocal about my opinion. I think that evildoers in Washington, D.C. calling patriotic Americans who occupy the people's house terrorists is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen them do, and I've seen them do some really fucking disgusting shit. What do you think?
It's gonna be Patriot Act 2.0, right?
There's no doubt in my mind they just love to do that. I don't see how they can, but how'd they do it in the first place, But that's what I was saying earlier, too. My terrorist radar is really on overdrive right now because of all the security around all the state capitals and stuff. Everything's in position for some nasty shit to go down right at this moment.
Yeah, that is some pretty crazy stuff. But what I wonder is, why do people think it's going to be, the end? I wonder, because I guess, people think that Biden is a socialist. But I don't know, like if you've seen what's going on the left side, it's like they're having a big old argument about pushing the vote for Medicare for all, and how Biden won't even like touch a $200 stimulus check. Like he doesn't even want to push for that. And like there's a huge fight going on over there, because I was listening to how you were saying there's people who like want credentials and everything, and want people to be professional. And the big argument that they have on the left is the AOC and everybody has power, right? But nobody will push a Medicare for all vote.
Yeah.
And they're telling them to wait. And then how I was looking at it, because like I'm an independent, like I look at it and it's like, why wouldn't Biden just do what his old boss did and just bail out the banks in Wall Street and just pretend that he was like, so I just don't, like, you see what I mean? Like,
yeah, it would absolutely. That's what it makes the most sense that he will do, is the same thing that he's always done throughout his entire political career, which is basically, support the corporations and sell out the working class. Right? That's what you're saying.
You see what happened? You see what happened when Trump had to give $2,000.
Trump did. Hey, now look, do not buy into the bullshit theater. Trump did not try to get $2,000. Trump waited to the very last minute of that bill and then said, I'm not signing this. It's not enough money. When he could have the entire time been saying, I want $2,000 stimulus in there. And he didn't do that until the very last minute. So be real clear, that's not what he wanted. He wanted some game playing. He wanted some game playing with the good Americans who need somebody fucking fighting for them. And like you're saying, and I've been saying all along, there just doesn't seem to be anybody in Washington, D.C. fighting for the goddamn working class, good old, U.S. citizen. Go ahead.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, his idea, they went with everything else, but that idea was like a bridge too far for them. You see what I'm saying? Like, again,
it was this last minute thing, dude. Okay, we have this deal all worked out. We got this really crazy fucking thing that's so complicated, and everybody wants their little piece of the pie. We got it all worked out, and now what? This douchebag at the top, who could have from the very beginning been saying, I'm not touching that thing unless it has a $2,000 stimulus check for every American. He fucking didn't do that until the last minute when they had the deal done. Okay? So it's bullshit. I'm just telling you, don't buy into the idea that somehow Donald Trump wanted this for the American people. It's not true.
Yeah, it was a screw you to McConnell, because McConnell didn't go along
right.
with him. But that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, when I watched him do that, and it was just funny to me, because it's like the whole, like, you have the left screaming they want Medicare for all, and the Republican leadership was saying, we can't give it to you because it's going to cost too much money. And then here comes Trump saying, I could, if I wanted to, give you thousands of free dollars. And they didn't even know what to do with that. It's like the mindset of the U.S. went socialist in under 12 hours, because both Trump's people and the far left, far right and far left, I guess you would say, I don't know, but I would just look at both sides, saw that the government could do more than they're actually saying. And that's the Pandora's box that they didn't want to throw out there. The reason why Mitch McConnell didn't want to give $2,000 checks, and the reason why the left and like people like AOC, who ran on Medicare for all, now when they have the opportunity to put it in the thought process, they won't do it.
And that's what I keep saying about, there really isn't a left and a right. There's this bullshit that just keeps selling the working class America down the river to, this corporatocracy or whatever the fuck it is we have. But we're not, the left and the right is a lie. They work together to bring us to this horrible place where we are now. They're both 100% responsible.
That's why I hope people could see it now. From all this stuff that's happened from the last, 8 years, decade, I hope people now could put the dots together and see,
Yeah,
the average base for the left and right are not enemies. They're actually more in common than their actual leadership.
the politicians, there isn't a left and a right. It's just this fake thing. The people, there's a left and a right, and you know, and that makes sense. Everybody's different, and you know, everybody wants to identify in their own way. So yeah, I hate abortions. I want people to have freedom of choice. You know what I mean? It's understandable for both sides. But the politicians is just a lie. It's just theater. It's just like, well, I'm speaking to these suckers, and these suckers like to hear these words, so that's what I'm going to say to these suckers. And then they're going to support me until the day I die, so I won't ever have to look for another fucking job. You know?
Because what's interesting, what you're saying about that terrorist aspect of it, to look at it.
Right.
What's interesting is because the leadership of the left, when they were trying to push for this Medicare for all, and the person who was pushing for it, I guess since they didn't like the tone of his voice, and since he was cussing, they tried to label that as violence.
Yeah.
And how do you have violence on a tone? Or, you know what I mean? Like, how is that violent when what they saw, like it totally like diminishes actual real violence?
And it's a threat to freedom of speech everywhere. You know, if they can label this as some kind of an act of violence for me saying, you know, that the people who make money off of wars, that they vote to keep going forever, those people belong in prison because war profiteering should be illegal, number one, first and foremost, you know. Those people belong in prison. That's like somehow I'm making an act of violence against them. You know, and that's you know, that's the exact opposite of what this country is supposed to be about.
What do you think about that aspect of it? Like our mindset going down that path, like because
people are them
labeling like cuss words and yelling as a actual like physical violence.
Yeah, people are, you know, misprogrammed and divided as much as possible, and programmed to be as scared as they can get them, so they can do shit like this. You know, they can appeal to this one little group who says, you know, what do they call them? Karens, right? There's one little group of Karens who like, yeah, swearing is bad, okay? We can't have people saying fuck and shit and cunt. Those words are evil, and they make me feel like I'm gonna cry, like someone's beating on me. You know, fuck. You know, I don't give a shit if you. The deal is, okay, it's like being on this channel. All right, if you come on this channel and you can't deal with some troll in the chat, I don't care. Okay, if the troll in the chat is really way over the top, saying, you know, we need to kill this person, we need to kill that person, we need to kill all these people, you know, that person gets fucking blinked. But you know, if you can't deal with the troll, then you know the simple truth is you must be this tall to ride this ride. Okay? And if you can't handle people using free speech or taking back the people's house or fighting for freedom or fighting for the Second Amendment rights that are enshrined in the Constitution, if you can't deal with that and somehow you're threatened so much it makes you want to cry like you're being beat up, then you should not be here. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. That's the way the saying goes.
Do you think it comes from our like cushy lifestyle? Because like even when like people get like
no, it's not the cushy lifestyle. It comes from people being misprogrammed. You know, from the very start. They act like being basic human nature is somehow bad. Oh no, you can't do that. You don't touch yourself. Good people don't do that.
It's like the reason I say cushy lifestyle, because like I compare the censorship that happens in the West to the censorship that happens in the East, like in like Saudi Arabia, China, or like the United Arab Emirates. You know, like if those people, when they say something, like they actually like have like violence done to them. You know what I mean? Like, they actually have, like, real repercussions that happen to them when they speak to power.
Well,
You know what I mean?
If you
Like, they don't have, like,
I
a
mean,
Twitter
they
account or,
execute
like,
people in
something
Saudi Arabia for being homosexuals. Okay, so
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like, I don't know, like you said, it's not so bad. You know, it could be worse.
Well, look,
Like, we could live.
What I'm trying to say is when I hear people call and I hear this desperation in their voice, and that's very concerning to me because I'm a very empathetic being. Okay, and I know that the truth is that the underlying nature of this existence is joy, and that it's waiting right there, right now, in your immediate presence for you to experience, but you're not able to experience it because you're being misprogrammed, misdistracted. You're being programmed to be as afraid as possible, and then you're jumping back and forth from the future. How am I going to make my bills next month to what this idiot did to me yesterday when he cut me off and I was going to try and do this, and driving home from work, and but you're never actually experiencing the moment. And that's the only thing that we can actually experience, and the only actual way that you can experience the underlying joy that is here all the time, waiting for you to experience. And you just get caught up in this negativity, and I become very concerned about people because it's not necessary. You hear me, I fight when I come out here and do the show. I'm full of fucking fire, but then I go out and I'm like talking about the eagle that I saw, and what a beautiful day it was, and the rain last night, and on and on, talking to the neighbors. It's not that there's just this it's that I want justice. I'm not out here going, oh my God, the dollar's gonna collapse and we're all so fucked. That's not what I'm doing. I'm like, we gotta fight like hell. Where'd that Donald Trump to go? Fight like hell. What happened to that guy? Alex Jones is right. Donald Trump is a nutless wonder, and I've been saying about him forever. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's people just need to understand that it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. And, the one thing that America is, we are the only country that does have the opportunity to actually change the world's perspective, not our leadership, but the people. Because we as a people are the only one that's able to, like, have this idea, like you just said, like, live should be better than just working. You know what I mean? It's just like how we had a renaissance before then.
Yeah.
And the renaissance brought us an abundance of food, so we were able to not work as hard in the outside. We had more time to master stuff.
Yeah.
It needs to be like a new farming renaissance, a new food, give us, just like people working every day just for stuff that they need.
I agree, and barely being able to get the basics that they absolutely have to have, like you're saying, car, house, all these things, food. I understand, and that's partially why I'm saying, experiencing it now too, is because you need to, like, when you have your plate of food, you can't be thinking about this political bullshit happening here and this, this guy cutting me off today on the way home from work. You need to be experiencing the food, because that's one of the most basic things. It's like, oh, warm food, yummy, this is good.
Because I guarantee you, those leaders aren't even thinking about the political stuff. You know what I mean?
They don't think about anything except for, that they're at the top and they get to fucking enjoy the good life.
Exactly.
Dude. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Max, I like talking to you. I really do.
Right on. Well, you're welcome to call any time, my brother.
I just wanted to throw that out there. I've seen all this, and it looks like the human beings are right there at that precipice to say, our government should be working for us, but not working for us in a way they need to provide us more. Like they see it now. I'm sure everybody sees it.
I think it's becoming more and more clear. I love, you know, people are like, oh my God, now they're going to push through, like you said, the Patriot Act 2, you know, and I love the idea that they're going to try and do that because it just makes it more and more clear who the real threat to our personal freedom is, because the only threat, the threat to our personal freedom isn't coming from Iran. You know what the fuck I'm saying? It's coming from those motherfuckers in Washington, D.C. who cannot wait to pass through the Patriot Act 2.
Exactly. And then they'll just make more money for their people to watch over us even more.
All right.
I just hope.
What'd you say your name was?
I hope we can get through this. My name is Jay.
Jay, I'm sorry, Jay. Yeah. Look, man. You don't have to hope that we'll get through it. Here's what you need to know. We always get through it, Jay. Just stay cool.
Yeah.
We always get through it. Whatever it is, whatever the shit hill it is, we got to climb over. We always get over it somehow. So just stay cool and we'll get through it, man.
Thank you much.
Nope.
The show's real nice.
Hey, I'm glad to hear from you. Call back anytime, okay?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks
see
for
you.
letting me on.
Stay cool.
Right. You too.
And I think I've been pretty consistent on all of this stuff too. So you guys know I'm not just pulling these things out of my ass. And again, I have the fire. I understand why people are so caught up, and I see it. I get it. But there's more to life than that. And that if what you want is to focus on the things that are pissing you off, if you're just waiting for the next thing to fall that's pissing you off, you know, I don't really get that. But I see people walking around like that, you know, and it's just like this one piled up thing on top of another piled up thing, you know. I hate the police state. I can't stand it, but it's because it limits freedom. It limits your freedom. It doesn't really limit my freedom, but it limits your freedom so much. It makes people so they can't even be human, like I said. And I think that the only way that this species evolves, I think the only way that this species evolves to what it's supposed to be is with as much freedom given to it as possible. Hello, caller.
You are woke as fuck, Mike.
Yeah, okay.
No, that was great, dude. I got out of bed, turned your channel on, and you are just laying down the truth like tracks to heaven, man. It was great listening to you school that young man that was just on the phone, Jake. That was great. That's what I like to see. Dude, you're right on the money. Like yesterday, I was all fucked up because I fucking goddamn this and goddamn that. And then I just kicked my ass, self in the ass all day long, got shit done. Everything is cool now. And I'm much better. So I got through it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right, man. I'm learning.
We always
Learn
get
from
through
the
it.
old guys.
We always get through it, whatever it is, you know. I mean, well, that's a hard thing to learn when you're a young guy, that we always get through it. But you know, I mean, because you haven't had a bunch of things that you had to go through that you got through, you know. But I mean, we always get through it. That's what the facts are. There really isn't another option, you know. I mean, what, we're going to give up, you know? Fuck that.
Yeah, march or die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but nonetheless, despite the fact that one day you're up and another day you might be down, if you care about your country and your planet and other people and the natural world and little bunny rabbits and alpacas and dolphins, if you care about that shit, you gotta fight. And you gotta fight all those mean, nasty vampire motherfuckers in Washington, D.C. who are trying to fuck with your life and turn you into slaves. And that's exactly what the fuck they're doing. They want you as a slave, scared, afraid, with a chain around your neck, saying, yes, master, take my money, master. I mean, I don't know about you, but I worked for fucking free. If I bid a fucking job wrong or somebody fucked me, you know, somebody rips me off or something, you know, that's what slaves do. We want to get paid so fair wage for fair work, and the problem is we're not always, we're hardly ever dealing with honest people. A lot of people
as I've said again and again, all the pillars of the community are full of shit. And when all the pillars of the community, you know, the police, the politicians, the religion, the educational system, just fucking the media, the fucking for-profit healthcare system, when all of that's full of shit, it's hard for people not to be kind of partially, at least, full of shit, you know.
Well, there's some theories that say psychopathy is a natural adaptive evolution of the society we live in. I mean, technically, this society is so corrupt, we're breeding little baby psychopaths every day, you know. You got 10% of the population that are predators, at least. That includes narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, and others.
Politicians and newsreaders. Go ahead.
Yeah, and, you know, I like that there was some movie about a young lawyer where the young lawyer says to the old lawyer, "Do you remember when you first sold out?" And you know what? I can tell about you. You didn't sell out, Mike, and that's an admirable motherfucking way to go about life, and that's an admirable thing to be. And I didn't sell out, and there's lots of people that haven't sold out, but unfortunately, sometimes we get screwed, and you know, words can hurt us, and slander does hurt. And my little buddy, Donald Trump, he's hurting right now because they're slandering his ass like fucking mayonnaise on his sandwich, man. Fucking mayonnaise, my buddy Donald Trump. But he'll be okay.
Yeah, I think the billionaire is going to do just fine. The billionaire with the supermodel wife is going to do just fine.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, you got to laugh to keep from crying sometimes. But,
I just laugh because it feels good.
Yeah, well, obviously I feel the same way. But, yeah, we are in America. This is living in America. Nonetheless, I'm really concerned with people's ability to survive. I really care about my brothers and sisters, not just in this country, but, you know, in all the countries we're bombing, and all the places where the American soldiers rape the women, you know, little 15-year-old
Well, look
girls.
at. Here's the deal: is it those things, those evil deeds that you're talking about, the evil that I keep talking about, that the members of Congress and all the politicians are doing in our name, is you know, paid for with our tax dollars. And the last caller, Jay, you know, he was saying, you know, what he doesn't, he was almost there, and I didn't finish for him, was that, you know, we have all the power. These people absolutely work for us, and they act like they don't get that. They act like they don't get that that's the people's house, and that, you know, I mean, they call them terrorists, and there's this difference, right? There's this people who blow up fucking AT&T building, and then there's the people who take back the people's house, you know? Right. And it makes me very upset that these people at the top with all the power who make the rules want to act like, you know, these like patriotic type people who are taking back the people's house are because the worst thing right now in Western civilization that you can be called is a terrorist, you know?
Mike, a bunch of barbarians broke through the front doors of the Purple Palace of Perfection, and they assaulted our democracy, man. You can't let that stand like that, because it's America, man, because America.
Yeah, well, that looks, I mean, that's what I think America should look like, you know? I think if the people's house is filled with evildoers doing evil in the people's name and not representing one goddamn working class person, then yeah, I think they should be pulled out of that house. And they're lucky they got away. But that's not what that group was about. They really weren't there to hurt anybody.
I hung out with bunch of my buddies today, and I couldn't believe it. I walk in his house, and he's got like a 48-inch TV, and I said, "Oh God, I'd never seen a TV that big." And
What? Are you kidding? You never been to Costco or something?
I think 36 is the biggest I've ever seen.
Craig's got a 70-inch television on the wall down in the living room.
Well, aren't you special, man? What the fuck?
It's funny. He's like, I can't see anything on the screen. My eyes are fucking horrible. Everything on the screen is blurry. I'm like, that's too bad. Because I enjoy the fuck out of that big old TV.
Yeah, man. The fucking, you must have, the pixels on that girl's, that titty must be fucking amazing. But, so I walk in there, and of course, you know what they're watching. They're watching the goddamn impeachment, and it's like, yeah, Trump, that motherfucker, he should be fucking thrown in jail, and they're all fucking going off the rails like he's the devil, and I told him, you know, Trump's the leader of Al-Qaeda, and he's putting bombs on planes, and I'm just fucking jerking their chain, you know, and the girl starts yelling at me, well, there's 4 people dead, and it's like, I can't believe people actually fall and just get all upset about what the newsreaders are pushing down their throats. It's like, Trump is the enemy, we have to kill him. So,
but it's not. Hey, look at, you know, everybody buys into it. It's this programming. It's this constant misinformation. It's this droning thing that never stops. So, one way or another, it's kind of it's getting inside your head. So the people that are, you know, not
my head.
Well,
not my head.
You know, I mean, you keep referring to them like Trump supporters or the people who attacked. You know, I tell you, no, they're not. They're Americans and stuff like that. You know, but that's what the media wants us to believe, is that they were all Trump supporters who did this, and you know that I just don't think that that's true.
Well, I come from a really stupid ass, dysfunctional, hillbilly, motherfucking Roman Catholic Italian family where the people are just fucking stupid, and so I'm the only one. I'm not just an anomaly. I'm a fucking singularity, and it's like I got so little patience for dumb motherfuckers who watch the fucking TV all the time and then tell me I'm fucking crazy. It's like,
I hear you. I can't stand these people that you know mimic what the news is saying. That's the, you know, parrot. Might as well just get a parrot, you know.
Yeah, and you tell like me with my ex-family, my brothers or my sisters, you tell them the truth and you lay it out for them, and they'll say, just off the cuff, they just dismiss it. Like, oh, that doesn't really matter. You know, it's like they dismiss factual evidence and arguments and irrefutable truth. Like, that's called solipsism, where, you know, you're walking through life with blinders on, and I only want
the truth
my little world.
The truth is a very difficult thing for lots of people to deal with. You know, I mean, the truth is, you know, 2 giant towers falling down into their own footprint is a complete impossibility from planes flying into them, and yet people refuse to accept that because it would mean some horrible
I told you
thing.
My story of my awakening.
Yeah.
When I was, you know, I was sitting on the lawn at the building at the Ojai Foundation, and one of my employees was talking about 9/11, and I said, I literally said, our government would do that to us. And then, well, what about, you know, he just kept going on. Now, what about Tower 7? What about this? What about that?
Did you?
And I said, if I ever find out our government did that to us, you'll have to kill me to shut me up. And within 6 months, I knew.
Yeah.
And here I am, like, you're going to have to kill me to shut me up. And that is what they do to us every day through the media and through Twitter and Facebook and all social media. Is like, this is the truth. You guys, they feed it to us like oatmeal, baby food to a baby. Like, here, take this and just shut up. And anything different than this is a crime and a sin, and we're going to burn you at the stake, or we're going to knock you off Twitter, we're going to eliminate your YouTube channel, and you're an anti-Semite, and you're a terrorist,
Well,
and here we are. This is just one stage in human evolution. I believe we're going to be successful to get our internet back, because it should be a public utility and it should be free, and we should have all kinds of arguments. And like you were just saying to the other guy, you know, you got to be this tall to get on this ride. That's a good analogy, man. It's like you can't eliminate argument, because argument is part of dialogue, and dialogue is part of social development. We need social development, not zombies, you know, who just swallow the baby food the government gives us and be a good little citizen and pay your taxes. Oh, and by the way, we're going to fine you because you had too many toes on the sidewalk and you're breathing more than your allotted amount of air. Fuck you, Mr. Government. Fuck you, Mr. Mustache Pelosi, and fuck everybody else too. You know, there's a brand new Republican senator, a female, who spoke, I think, possibly for the second time today during the impeachment. They all get a little shot at their opinion, you know. And I saw an interview with her. I can't remember her name. She's blonde. I don't know what state she's from, but she's a first-time senator, and I like her a lot. She's a Republican, and she's got some fucking balls. And she says, "I'm going to file papers for impeaching Joe Biden within the first 10 minutes of the new session." So
Yeah.
I thought that would be great, because
Yeah.
if there is anybody who deserves to be impeached, it's Joseph.
If we're just going to throw this shit around willy-nilly, that's exactly what's going to happen. And all the Republicans should be saying shit like that, because you know, that's what the Democrats are acting like now.
Well, AOC is acting real tough, throwing around cuss words and trying to pretend she's some brilliant fucking, social servant. But I think she's a fucking sellout, man. It's like she's just trying to secure her position for the rest of her life.
Did you hear
I think we should have definite term limits.
Did you hear the caller last night that was talking about on 9/11 how she went to the bar after she got off work, but it was the VFW that she wound up going to, and that there was like one guy there who was like, "Yeah, this is fucking bullshit, man," and like all the other guys were like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," you know.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's always that one guy that can see the shit that other people can't see. And I was a steel worker, and I saw the towers collapse, and I heard the newsman say, Osama bin Laden, Osama bin Laden, Osama bin Laden. And I was working every day, 200 feet in the air, hanging upside down with no safety belt, welding. I was a young wildcat fucking kid, working with the same damn beams. I still read steel blueprints. I was using the same cranes to move the beams. And I fell for the psyop.
Like I said at the beginning when I brought it up, you know, it's just easier than the truth. It's just sometimes the truth is so fucking overwhelming. It's just too hard to deal with, and for a lot of people, they're gonna keep it that way. I mean, there's just nothing they can do about it, you know.
Well, you've been doing what you've been doing for a long time, and as the months go by, I find myself drifting from my radical spear in my hand, burning spear, wake those motherfuckers up, hit them with a fucking baseball bat, wake them up, to a little bit more towards your style of, well, you can't convince everybody right away, and it is a marathon, so you got to tone your dialogue down a little bit and just... You wake up the ones you can, and
you have to have some empathy for where it is they're coming from, because you know, I mean, like I said, so much misprogramming from the very beginning, so much misinforming every minute of every day, and then there's so many other fucking complicated fucking psychological things that they're dealing with from the time they're little. So you have to have some empathy where they're coming from, and then you can say, okay, you know, I get it. I get where you're coming from, but this is the facts. you know.
Yeah, I'm moving.
And instead of, how fucking stupid are you?
Yeah,
which I do sometimes, you know.
Well, I've seen you do it, but yeah, I mean, when people get stuck in untruth, they really get stuck in untruth sometimes, and I think mine is a personal frustration because of my dealings with personal matters, not political matters. Is like I just hate it when you tell the truth and you tell the truth and you tell the truth, and it's like you're still crazy, you know? It's like you show them a picture and you draw them a dialogue. I'm like that guy on that meme with fucking giant chalkboard and lines all over the place.
Crazy is just another label that they use. Like any other label, you know, like Trump supporters. They label them Trump supporters, and now you know that you can disregard that they have any fucking... these are the stupidest people in the world. They support Donald Trump. You know, just get whatever label sticks. So crazy's another one of those labels, you know, and you don't let it... I mean, think about who it is that's labeling people crazy, you know.
Yeah. Well, Nietzsche said the ones who were dancing appeared to be insane to those who can't dance. You know,
right.
It's an analogy. It's not exactly directed towards political events, but you know, it's just about consciousnesses. Like you were just saying to that young man. You know, life is beauty, life is joy, but things get so fucked up, we forget it, and we think it's the end of the fucking world, and that's the way they want us to be.
Right.
They want us confused, running around, panicking, not able to think, not able
We're all gonna die! That's what they want.
That divide and conquer, that's the strategy, and it's written out in a dozen different papers, you know, CIA papers and everything else. This is how you divide the population. You do this, that, and that. And then you do this, and they really get fucked up, and then you can come in and you can wage a war. You know, that's what they did
and that's the real problem is that they actually have a plan that they are in the middle of exercising, and we don't even realize that there's this thing being done to us, and you know, and we can't come together because we're so divided. We have all the power. Fuck you, fuck your plan. I don't care if we have a plan or not. We will smash you into bits. Okay? I don't give a fuck about your plan. The people have all the power if we can just get beyond the bullshit division, you know?
Well, they just used a mass bioweapon on planet Earth here, Mike, so I think that's going to be their favorite toy for the next couple decades. It's like, the masses are unruly and unmanageable. Release the bioweapon! You know, it's like everybody gets the runs, or, you know, 14% of the population gets paralyzed on their right side or something, you know. The bioweapons is the way of the future. It's the way of the now. That's why we're at where we're at.
Yeah.
Because I think this release was an accidental one, but, you know, never let a good crisis go to waste. Let's jump on it, George, and, you know, now we all need COVID passes to get on the bus, and I can't go see my girlfriend in another country because I don't want to get a vaccine, and I can't find a job because I don't want to get a vaccine, and I'm dependent on the government because there's a biological weapon everywhere and murder hornets, and it's like, it's fuck you, man. And yet they can fake an anthrax attack, right? You could trace the anthrax back to New Mexico or wherever the fuck it came from.
It has a serial number on it, yeah.
Right. But, well, you know, this came from penguins to turtles to bats and crazy Chinese girls eating soup. You know, that's how this got out. It was crazy Chinese girls.
Well, you know how those crazy Chinese girls are.
Yeah, right. They got all kinds of diseases, and they're so...
I didn't say that.
They're so luscious. But I found out why Twitter lost $100 billion and Facebook lost $6 billion.
They lost more than that. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, whatever they lost, it was directly the result of the criticism of world leaders coming out and criticizing them for banning Trump. the leaders of Germany, Italy, Spain, France, Uganda, and a couple more countries directly criticize the technocrats who run Twitter, Facebook, and Google. And within one day, boom, the stocks went down. So we're talking about Macron in France saying, oh, you guys, you technocrats are so fucked up, we're going to have to do something in our country. The president of Uganda eliminated both Twitter and Facebook for a 2-week period until his elections are over with. And
right on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Marijuana is legal nationwide in Uganda, in case anyone's wondering.
Really?
Yep.
Whoa.
And all the dispensaries are government owned, and they sell it for $1 a gram.
Cool, dude. I'm moving to Uganda soon. I'm going to be a marijuana tycoon. So I don't know. It looks like we're right dab smack in the middle of the apocalypse, and I see people moving from California to Texas all the time, including Joe Rogan, and people here in my town moving to Texas, and it's like, got to get out of communist California.
You know what? If you move to fucking Texas from somewhere where it's legal to fucking smoke weed, you don't care about freedom. You don't really genuinely care about freedom at all, including your own.
And you don't have optimism for the future. If you can't stay in your own idiot fucking state, what do they call California? The Great State or the something? The Golden State.
Golden something.
Yeah, and that means you got no faith in your own golden state. It's like I have to move somewhere else because it's so fucked up here. I can't fix my state, I have to leave this beautiful sunshine state.
You don't have to do anything. You have fucking all the money in the world, Joe Rogan. You can live wherever you want. You're choosing to move away because why? You'll get a better tax rate in Texas, and you don't really care about freedom. Go ahead, let's see you go to fucking Texas and go smoke weed on the fucking air, passing a joint to Elon Musk, and let's see how that works out for you, Joe Rogan, fucking idiot.
Yeah, I agree. I can understand, wanting to make, a lot of more money and not paying taxes, but I'm kind of attached to my state, even though I live in this beautiful New Age town, and it's literally the zombie apocalypse. It's like, I'm so woke and I'm so beautiful, and look at my wonderful yoga pants, and today we meditated, we crystals.
No one told you to look at their wonderful yoga pants. You just I can't stop looking at your wonderful yoga pants.
I'm like the guy in that movie Seven, where I'm riding on the bus and I just automatically puke on somebody because it's such a fake society, It's like I hate New Agers so much. But nonetheless, California, God, we got the redwoods, we got the beach, we got the desert, we got, if you want to see concerts, there's probably no better place to see concerts than L.A. Or the L.A. area.
I saw my first concert was at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. It was Queen.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. I was 16.
Was that before or after Bohemian Rhapsody?
I think Bohemian Rhapsody just came out. It was like 1978.
That's one awesome song. That is like...
they had to, half of it had to be played recorded. It was...
Right, yeah, I realized that. I saw that movie about Freddie Mercury. Some guy played Freddie Mercury, and
I didn't see that.
I saw how they had to deal with the record executive didn't like the song, right? He didn't like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Well, yeah.
It was like this.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? That's not rock and roll, man.
I know. And it's like they threw a brick through his window and quit and went somewhere else, and it was like, fuck, I didn't know that. I'm sure that was an accurate detail. So Bohemian Rhapsody is just like this gem amongst gems. It was so masterful.
It's from Night at the Opera, right?
Well, I can't.
I'm pretty sure it's from Night at the Opera is the name of the album.
Yeah, I was a big Zeppelin, Hendrix type guy, and I know Queen was around when I was 18, but I wasn't that much into it. Stone Cold Crazy, So, but as the decades go by, you realize, oh wow, that band I really wasn't that into produced this masterful gem of a song.
Oh man, I saw Hall & Oates when I was like 18 or 19 years old, and it was fucking amazing concert, dude.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they just played smash hit after smash hit after smash hit. I was kind of blown away.
Yeah, and good sound too, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Yeah, he does, I think, he does concerts out of his basement. Oates does.
Huh.
Or no, Daryl Hall's basement tapes or something like that. And this is even before COVID he was doing that.
Cool.
And inviting all these artists in, and, they do their hits, and, there's a lot of really great artists, and here I am, this little guy, never really, I used to throw dances, and I used to be a concert promoter, and I would make money off the dances, and most of the time I would make a little bit of money as a promoter, but I was, as being an artist, I would funnel most of the money to the artists, because I respect the artists, because I know it takes a lot to get on stage and do your thing and lay your soul bare. And I was really into world music. The biggest concert I ever threw was for a guy named Prem Joshua. And I think I was one of his last, this is in 2002 or 2002. And he's a big New Age guy. People probably know who Prem Joshua is. And really talented guy. And it was right as Bush was about to invade Iraq. And I'm and I got like 400 people on a Wednesday night, in the middle of the week, a Wednesday night. Hard to do, man. But, and I just gave those guys all the money. And I just did it for the love of supporting a great artist. And I remember I'm hanging out with him, and Bush was just about to invade Iraq, and he said, I don't think I'm going to come back to America. America is a very young country, and there are a lot older countries. I can't believe this guy's going to invade Iraq. And he never came back to America after that. But he's a world-class, basically he's what you call a world fusion artist, if you want to look him up. He's got a lot of great songs, and he's a really great guy. And I was working my way up to starting, getting experience as a promoter, someone who put on shows. And I was going to start the Ojai World Music Festival. Then I got so disgusted with this town that I dropped that idea, and I'm glad I did, because I got to concentrate on my own work and my own stuff. But I really love world music, and I really love artists from foreign countries, who could be, from the Arabian countries. Or,
look up the band Gogol Bordello. Type that into YouTube. Gogol
Bordello. I think I heard that name. Where are they from?
I think they're Czechoslovakian.
Yeah, there's awesome fucking music groups from any country you can think of, from fucking Nepal or.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the things that I think the aliens are most impressed by is what we do with the music that we make. I think they're like blown away by it.
Yeah, music is the one language everybody understands and can hear. You don't have to understand the words to understand when someone's soul is being laid bare and coming out of their mouth as vocals,
Or when someone's actually, technically proficient with an instrument. You don't have to understand any language, if they're making these sounds like, wow, how the fuck are they doing that? I watched a guy with a 12-string guitar fucking make it talk one night, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing to me, man? I was tripping balls. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I wanted to show all the little kids, 7, 10, 12-year-olds in my town, is like, look at this dude from Africa. Look what he's doing. You've never seen anything like this. And to see their faces light up and to give them this brand new cultural experience, that was my goal. And despite the fact that it worked out better for my personal life, not to sacrifice so much of my life to make that happen, being a small-time promoter, it would have been a great deal, a great gift for my town, but I'm glad I didn't end up doing it. But I would have loved to have seen the young people exposed to cultures they never even knew existed, rappers from France or Czechoslovakia or, fucking people from every part of the globe. Rumi said music is the language of spirits. So I agree with that description. I think music is the language of spirits. And Freddie Mercury, man, that guy made that gem of a song.
And a whole lot of other ones too. I mean, Laser Queen, she's a killer. Killer Queen. Got fine agility, dynamite with the laser beam, guaranteed to blow your mind anytime. I can't do Freddie. Nobody can do Freddie.
No, man. I think I read an article that said he had a couple extra teeth, therefore it gave him a little bit of a bigger mouth and more resonance, maybe a deeper throat.
Yeah, he had a voice like nobody else, that's for sure.
And then my ex-girlfriend, whom she was a vocal instructor, and she said, well, if you give a guy a head, it kind of opens up the back of your throat.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know anything about that.
I don't know about that either, but she swore it was the truth.
I got to take a break, Mike. All right, it's good to hear from you, okay?
All right, take care.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye. All right, I'm going to play a video for you guys about protesters. FBI is warning that protesters now are armed with IEDs. So, I thought that's important information. Breaking news, protesters are now armed with IEDs. Now they're terrorists, that's for sure.
Breaking news, CNN learns investigators believe the attack on Capitol Hill wasn't a mob that spiraled out of control, but included a higher level of planning than previously known. And it comes as discussions are underway about raising the terror threat level in the United States, with officials bracing for another potential attack by armed militias on Capitol Hill. Evan Perez is out front, and Evan's been breaking all of this reporting on what we're learning here, the level of planning, prior organization. What are your sources telling you, Evan?
Well, Aaron, one of the questions that investigators are trying to figure out is whether the groups that were involved, again, there were disparate groups, different types of ideologies, what level of coordination there was. They can see from some of the evidence that investigators have already gathered, they've seen indications that people left the Trump rally at the Ellipse in front of the White House, where, by the way, they had to give up their backpacks. They had to give up some of the items that they were taking, and they left a little early so that then they could go perhaps retrieve the items that they had, weapons that they had, in order to attack the Capitol. And then, of course, they turned up with things like sledgehammers, with ropes, with things that they could use for climbing. They had helmets. Some of them had better shields and bear spray than the sprays that the Capitol Police were able to deploy to try to calm the crowd, to try to push the crowd back. So that, to investigators, indicates that there is a high level of planning that occurred here. And so the question is, who's involved? How much of it went into place before the Wednesday events? They're looking at the travel records, they're looking at communications, they're looking to see following the money. And that's why you have counterterrorism prosecutors, and you have investigators who do public corruption, because they know how to follow the money.
So we're also learning, Evan, National Guard units are being told to prepare for improvised explosive devices, IEDs. These are things that we associate with war zones. We associate with places like Iraq and Afghanistan. And now they're saying that they're worried about them here. What are you hearing about the intensity of these security concerns on Inauguration Day?
It is definitely intensified, and part of the reason that law enforcement is concerned is that they believe that some of these groups looked at what happened at the Capitol and feel emboldened. They feel that that they can try to do something even bigger, perhaps, and that's why the National Guardsmen who are here and women who are here, there are some 20,000 of them. That's more than are being deployed in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. That is one of the chief concerns, is to prepare for the possibility of IEDs and other weaponry. You see the promises that these groups are making, that they want to come to Washington, they want to surround the Capitol. There are all kinds of warnings being issued in bulletins to law enforcement to be on the lookout for, not only here in Washington, but at state capitals around the country. Aaron.
All right, Evan, thank you very much.
Bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. And when I ride my bicycle, I want to ride it where I like. I can't do Freddie Mercury. Nobody can do Freddie Mercury. Telling you. It's just not possible. It was a damn good show, though. Especially for my first concert. What a beautiful life. So are you guys excited about the next couple days, about what's going to happen? What's going to happen, huh? What's going to happen? The protesters have IEDs now. What's going to happen? The National Guard is out. And the National Guard is out around state capitals, back and forth across the country. Like I said, everything is in place right now, perfectly for a very big false flag. So, if something like that happens, don't immediately buy into the bullshit. Don't start goose stepping right away, because that's what they want. They want everybody dropping out of high school and signing up right now. Because that's the patriotic thing to do. Gotta fight for freedom. So that they can call you domestic terrorists when you actually come home to fight for freedom. Motherfuckers. I'm feeling much better now. You know what? Everywhere I go, I don't know. I don't know if you're supposed to be wearing a mask when you're walking around outside, but like everywhere I go now, when I go on my walks, almost every single person is wearing a mask. And it just is really weird to me. It's like when you see somebody there's all this space, right? There's all this space, and the wind is being whipped around, and there's all this circulation, and it's like, I just can't see wearing a mask in that environment as being a healthy thing. Now, if you were walking around in some downtown area where people are shoulder to shoulder, maybe that makes sense. But, going out and walking the dogs in my little, urban neighborhood with in the middle of the rainforest, I just don't get it, and they look scared. Some of them, the ones that are wearing masks, it's not everybody, but like so many people. I'm so surprised about the walking thing. Or it's like you see somebody driving in a car. Maybe if you're delivering packages for Amazon, you have a mask on, but that would probably be, if you were smart, that probably would have been not anything new. You know, but I mean, but having a mask on, driving your car that you drive every day to work, that's some crazy shit, man. No offense. Hello, caller.
Hey, Max, how's it going?
It's going fine. How's it going for you?
It's going good. It's going good, man. You know, I mean, personally, everything's going well. You know, what I'm watching in the world, of course, isn't. You know, but
I don't know, man. I really like this. I really like this whole thing. The FBI on alert, all 50 state capitals, you know, or have protest event, armed protest events planned for all 50 state capitals. I love that. That's fucking America, man.
you know, I think there is a white pill in all this. You know, I mean, I think they way overplayed their hand.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what I'm saying.
You know, I mean, like, I'm never ever encourages violence, but dude, these dudes are just asking to be fucking, you know, get what they fucking deserve. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, dude, what the hell are you doing? You know, they banned Ron Paul. What the fuck was Ron Paul doing? Talking about the gold standard?
Yeah.
You know, come on. What the fuck? And honestly, I know why they banned Ron Paul. Ron Paul kind of like led the second Republican movement, you know, like originally when the term alt-right came around, you know, before everybody just said Nazi, 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 you know, it was we were, the alternative right, you know, we weren't the same. We weren't the Mitt Romneys, we weren't the John McCains. Truthfully, the alt-right hates fucking Republicans, you know, they hate them as much as Democrats, you know?
Yeah.
They all see them as traitors and part of the Uniparty.
They're not real. They're not Republicans. They're rhinos.
Yeah. You know, like establishment shills, man. Like just fucking garbage, dude. Like well, you know, but you know, I'm seeing some good things because the Democrats way fucking overreacted. The media way overreacted.
Right.
Everything overreacted.
Yeah.
Dude, like if you can remember back to the DNC convention. Dude, they had a fucking music video of some black guy who's like super gay. He's wearing a dress, and he's singing for what it's worth. You know, dancing in front of like burning buildings and riots and shit, dude. And you know, and now they're all of a sudden they're like, oh my God. You know, they weren't even rioters. They were peaceful protesters.
Right.
But now I expect me some little old lady waving a flag in
Right.
the Capitol is a domestic terrorist.
Right.
You know? I mean, come on, bro.
Yeah, I agree. This is what I'm saying, and I've been highlighting this from the words from the minute I heard domestic terrorist, man. I'm like, that's it. That's, you know, because they can't, you know, in today's Western culture, it is impossible to label someone anything worse than terrorist. And it's easy to explain why pedophiles get a trial, terrorists do not.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, from what I've seen, you know, from what I've been paying attention to what they did to like Michael Flynn and fucking Roger Stone and Manafort, you know, dude, those guys got fucked. Those guys got fucked in the courts, and they're going to charge everyone.
Well, Manafort looks like a real dirty fucking scumbag. Roger Stone, he's a scumbag, but I don't think he should have got charged with anything, you know. Dude, but Manafort is fucking an evil doer. Will be happy to take suitcases of fucking $100 bills, no problem, dude. That's Manafort.
Manafort was put in solitary confinement for like a year, just staring at his shoes for not filing his taxes correctly. Now, you can hate him. You can think he's a scumbag.
He's dirty.
But dude, you know, and that dirty shit was when he was working with the Podestas. The fucking,
I don't give a fuck.
You know,
Look at. You can say, oh well, these are the evil guys, and he was working with them. He was evil. They're all motherfucking evil, dude. Okay, and that includes Donald Trump and Roger Stone. They don't give a fuck about working class, and they stand up there and pretend they do. And that's some evil bullshit when they could actually be making a difference for the working class.
Well, you know what they got Manafort on for being a scumbag for working with foreigners, foreign governments.
Uh-huh.
He was working with they got him for Ukraine, but he was on the side that was fighting against the communists. And they threw him in
He was on.
solitary
Look
confinement.
he was on his side, whichever side had the fucking suitcases of $100 bills. Okay, he was busted for a whole bunch of fucking getting money from foreign entities and not claiming it on his tax. You're like, oh, because he misfiled his tax reports. No, he got fucking suitcase after suitcase of $100 bills, and he never reported a single one of them.
The fucking crime he was charged for, every politician in Washington.
I agree. I think that when you get to Congress, when you get to Washington D.C., here's what happens. I'll bet you is they go, okay, in your first term in office, you get every 2 weeks, twice a month, you get a briefcase full of $20 bills, and you bring back the other briefcase, and we meet at restaurant from the same restaurant, and you bring the empty briefcase, and then you take out the one with the $20 bills. Okay, that's how it works in your first term. And your second term is $50 bills twice a month, and in your third term it's $100 bills, and it's a suitcase, not a briefcase. So, I get it, dude. I mean, they're all bought and paid for, but don't act like one side is better than the other, because that's a bunch of bullshit.
In solitary confinement, where he wasn't allowed to talk to anybody for a year.
He's fucking evil shit, dude. And you know what? People could have made a difference about that. I care about people so much, could have pardoned Paul Manafort in a fucking heartbeat, and instead let him fucking sit there in solitary confinement, with no shoes or whatever.
They threatened Donald Trump with fucking impeachment if he did.
They fucking impeached him twice, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? Come on, go for it. I would have been like, go for it. Just keep not doing the people's business and doing these idiotic impeachment trials and see how well that works out for you. Because I'll tell you what, they're in a lot of trouble right now.
So, like I was saying, there's other people too where I guess hopefully you don't have irrational hatred for, like Roger Stone, who had the
irrational hatred? You think I have irrational hatred for someone?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even have a conversation about the merits here.
You act like fucking Paul Manafort isn't a dirty scumbag. Dirty scumbags belong in prison.
He's a fucking patriot who fucking fights against the communists. That's what he's fucking put in solitary confinement.
That's a load of shit. I don't know where you get your information.
Why was it just him?
What do you mean just him? You just had a fucking list of people.
Well, yeah, I mean, why wasn't he wasn't not only convicted, he was pretty much like borderline tortured in prison. Right?
Look at, you know what?
They fucking...
They took they put Mark Emery in jail for 5 years for selling fucking seeds in an American prison. He got fucking MRSA because they're as sturdy as it gets, and that's pretty much a death sentence. Okay?
Was he put in solitary confinement for over a year without able to see anybody?
I don't know, but that's what they do in American prisons, isn't it? That's what fucking broken justices. This is why people are attacking the fucking U.S. Capitol, because they won't address the broken fucking justice. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the point I was trying to make, there's an extreme double standard.
Well, you want to fight for somebody. Don't fight for somebody who's making millions and millions of dollars. Don't fight for people that are making millions and millions of dollars. Fight for people that are fucking the lowest. And because these people that are making, they got plenty of money. Let them fight for themselves. Let their lawyers fight for them. Actually have some empathy for somebody who doesn't get any help from anybody. You know? Why are you fighting for a fucking multi-millionaire? For justice.
Max,
Give me a break.
Max, I'm not even fighting for... What I was trying to do was make a point that these fucking protesters, because they're perceived Trump supporters, are going to have the hammer dropped on them. Gee, they're going to be charged with fucking murder. You're going to see the first, Olympian convicted of murder. They'll convict them, too, because they're so fucking dirty. They're so fucking dirty.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the people. I think the people are going to rise up with this shit, dude. Look at, you can see them rising up already. They all summer long, we played fucking protest all summer long. You know,
with General Flynn, they couldn't even drop the case.
Again, you're fighting for these people. You're fighting for these fucking people that are at the top who don't need you to fight for them. Okay? I'm fighting for the people that are in the fucking street.
Well, I mean, if they're going to treat General Flynn like this, what do you think they're going to treat Aunt Mima?
What do you think the fucking title of this video is? The title of this video is Veterans, Police Officers, and a U.S. Olympian. Americans now being called domestic terrorists. Okay? I get it. I'm fighting for the weakest amongst us, though, and you keep bringing up fucking multi-millionaires who have everything in the world flowing for them, and what next? You're going to fight for Donald Trump? Give me a fucking break. He's a fucking billionaire with a supermodel wife. He's going to do just fine without your goddamn support. Fight for people who need it.
Max, what we're saying is there's a pattern involved, all right? It goes all the way to the millionaires, like you said, all the way down. You know, other millionaires, like ones that support the Democrat Party or the establishment Republican Party, they don't get treated like this, all right? Those millionaires don't get charged with shit, right? You know, you got fucking Epstein and shit with fucking, child sex, and he apparently, killed kids. Well, why didn't we never hear anything about that again? But, they kind of just put him on probation in Florida. It wasn't until Trump when they fucking, even attempted to arrest him.
Yeah,
and then, but, that shit was just going away, like fucking, what's that, one fucking, I can't remember.
We know exactly why this shit goes away, dude. Okay? He's got fucking video on everybody. Okay? Having sex with underage people. Okay? This is the facts. So that's why, and that's why he didn't kill himself in prison. Because a guy like that has a story to tell, and he's not going to fucking whack himself before he tells that story. So, and all the cameras magically fucking didn't work on that day, and the guards were asleep when it happened. How much fucking stupider can a story get for a guy who's supposed to be like, oh man, come on. It's just idiotic.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, they're going to false flag these demonstrations coming up too. I think I would be shocked if we don't see something like a bombing or something, some whatever fucking false flag bullshit, set something on fire. They're going to do something, and they're going to blow it way out of proportion.
Yeah.
And they're going to charge all those fuckers. They're going to charge them. Unless they're like, Antifa agitators, and they'll let them fucking go. They already did one fucking, they caught one of the DC protesters right away. He was a black dude who was apparently like a supposed BLM guy, I don't know, but they let him go without charges.
Uh-huh.
They caught him on the same day, and they let him go without charges. They're only after their enemies. And it doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are. You could be the president of the United fucking States. And they will fucking come for you. And, it's fucked up times, but I think,
Not if you have balls and you're the president. If you have balls and you're the president, if you have balls and you're the president of the United States, and they come for you, and they shut you down, you know what you do? You fucking shut them down. Okay, you go, yeah, you know what, Facebook, like it just said, like one of the caller right before you just said, in Uganda, they fucking banned Facebook and Twitter for the next 7 days. And world leaders around the world are criticizing. So what the fuck is wrong with Donald Trump? He rolls over and shows his fucking belly and pisses all over himself. Okay? Oh, my supporters would never fucking blah, 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 blah. Fuck you, Donald Trump. Pussy.
They did that with France too. I remember following the Marine Le Pen election, and they had like a political social media blackout.
Yeah.
God damn, I think it was like a couple weeks or a month or some shit. I don't remember. It's like part of whatever French law. You know.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like a.
You want to censor me? Let's see how you like it, motherfuckers. I'll
honestly,
show you fucking God mode, fucking Zuckerberg. You want to see God mode?
Honestly, I think it's fucked up for Uganda to ban social media. They did it for their elections. They didn't do it because they thought Twitter was corrupt. You saw some people talking about, I think it was a day or two ago, where Angela Merkel was criticizing Twitter for censoring Trump. And everyone's, oh, well, she's free speech. No, she wasn't. She was just critical because they had the power to fucking censor and not them. They want all the control. They don't like, Twitter going rogue and doing whatever the fuck it wants. But they still believed in censorship. They just didn't believe that they had the right. They believed they themselves had the right instead. So there's like, everybody knows the EU is fucking corrupt. So like that's not
all the politicians are corrupt. All the politicians are corrupt.
They fucking flooded their countries with fucking migrants just so that they could fucking get votes. They've been talking about that for fucking decades. They get people from Somalia, which has an average IQ of fucking 60. And then they fucking
you know
send
what,
them over
dude?
there. They give them
No. Okay? I'm not going to let you sit here and spew facts about people being fucking... Look, I just watch... I love kung fu movies, right? I watched a movie last night called The Master. It was very good. It was all in subtitles. But it was very, very good. I really enjoyed it, and they had this one it was all about invaders that were coming into China, and they were spreading opium, and they were stealing like all the fucking antiquities and stuff, and they were coming from everywhere. They were coming from Britain, they were coming from France, they were coming from America, and they were and there was this one scene where they were having a fight, representatives from each of these 7 countries or 8 countries were going to fight any Chinaman who was brave enough to step forward, and a bunch of these Chinese guys started lining up to fucking say, "I'll fucking kick your ass," and this guy, the master, he stepped forward. But there was this guy from France, right? And he was a fencer. He had a sword, right? And or a foil. And it was funny because he was talking about how, all you people are backward savages, And the guy looks at him and says, "We're the savages. You people invade every country that you think is backwards enough to invade. And we're the savages. Is that right?" And I'm not going to let somebody act like fucking idiot and say, "Oh, all the people there are, just fucking moron, backward savages." Give me a break, okay? Have a little bit of respect for a country, for a fucking culture that you know nothing about. Just the tiniest bit of empathy. Think about how you feel. I mean, you want to know who looks like a bunch of backward savages? Is fucking U.S. citizens. And you know why they look like that? Because they're all splintered off into a bunch of little tiny groups where they act like they're all against each other instead of coming together and having all the power and taking control of their fucking rogue piece of shit government and actually making something good in the world happen with their taxes and all their hard-earned treasure. Right? Why not make something good happen in the world instead of just smashing things and selling weapons to people? Right? That's who we want to be. That's who we want the United States to be, because that's who we are. And you want to call those people savages with an average IQ of 60? Give me a fucking break. No offense. And I'm just letting you guys know where I'm coming from. Okay, I think we are ready for another bong hit. Let's see. I have a video here about, let's see. Oh, the National Guard being called into Washington, D.C. It looks like there's possibly as many as 20,000 National Guards. They're showing them sleeping in the halls of the House of Representatives and wherever they can find a spot to lay down and stuff. It's crazy. And again, don't forget, what I'm seeing is that these places where the so-called representatives and lawmakers work, the people who are, again, the direct threat to your freedom, these people are now protected in a way that, it make it very difficult for the actual people to be able to make their voices heard, and that setting things up into like a perfect position for some type of a event. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, boss. How's it going? This is Mantequilla.
Hey, Manny, how are you?
I'm good.
Right on.
I just want to make a refutal to the previous caller that some cultures are backwards. Every culture is different. Every culture see other foreign cultures as backwards or weirds or weirders or something like that. It's going to be for every single culture, though. So there's no superior culture at all. It's just a bunch of people see different and they think that they have the higher moral ground and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what happened, for example, with the Spanish conquistadores, though.
Yeah.
If you know the history of Latin America, Christopher Columbus came into America, and then after that, other conquistadores came in, including Hernán Cortés, and he saw the Aztecs as very backward people, very literally animals. He called it like animals and beasts because the sacrifices that they were making and stuff like that goes way against the Catholic doctrine that they were trying to impose on people.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and also, Manny, let me add to that. When in 2001, when the towers came down, the people that we were going to fight lived in mud huts and caves. Again, making the point that they're backwards people, so they won't even notice if we fucking start dropping bombs on them.
Something that I was noticing, speaking of 9/11, dude. I was starting to see a gigantic moral panic going on right now. Like, I haven't seen this moral panic since 9/11. And I was 14 when that happened, when the whole 9/11 happened. And suddenly, in a matter of literally hours, everyone just becomes so patriotic and so in favor of the U.S. And right now, like, I've seen something similar. It's not the same, though, but it's pretty close to the same moral panic that we have after 9/11, though, when it comes to that, because you see everyone suddenly right
after 9/11, there was all this tremendous fear about what was going to happen next. The economy is going to crash, and there's going to be more attacks, and we're going to, nobody knew. So it was this giant panic of what was going to happen, and basically, the fear in the year 2020 has been ratcheted up so high, that the people have already been on edge, and then they see, this other things happening, and they're just like, oh my god, but that's really where they already were, just now they're kind of letting it out.
Yeah, it's exactly what's going on, though. So you have that, the Trump situation, you have the COVID situation, and stuff like that. And quite frankly, there's a lot of uncertainty that's going on. And I'm a conservative, so I follow a lot of conservative people, and I follow conservative Twitter, and a lot of people are just freaking out big time, though. And then you have the left, who is very reactionary right now. They're thinking like fighting all these people and pretty much punishing, though. Putting protesters on the no-fly list is really messed up, quite frankly.
Label them domestic terrorists is really, really messed up. Yeah. Especially when they didn't blow anything up, they didn't set any fires, they didn't spray paint stuff, they didn't rip down 300-year-old paintings. They simply occupied the people's house. That's not what terrorists do. And it's not like they went and they occupied the AT&T building or the Bank of America building. They went and occupied the people's house, and then you call the people taking back the people's house terrorist. You are a really fucked up individual. not you, Manny.
No, and you know the saddest part is, this is how the left people, the people that they're supposed to care about it, the
Right.
people that are supposed to be the most open-minded.
Yeah.
That's the saddest part. How can they become the establishment? How can they become the people that they're supposed to fight against? They may have become effectively their own worst enemy. They're supposed to liberate people, making open-minded, making progressive, making acceptable, tolerant, and they're the ones being intolerant.
Right.
It's
They're being completely intolerant of any other discussion other than what the dialogue is they want on this subject.
Yeah, and quite frankly, though, I've seen it. When I used to work in Southern California, though, the people that you think will be the most tolerant one, the one with the alphabet soup, like the LGBTQ people, I mean, nothing wrong with them. If you want to do whatever you want to do with your life, that's up to you, dude. But some of them were very militant, and they were very aggressive, though, and very sensible, and they start weaponizing the shot because either you don't agree with them, or once they find out you're like a conservative, they automatically think you're like the evil person. I'm a conservative.
Yeah,
I
well,
think what the people did in the Capitol was a legitimate protest. Oh, here's the other one. One of the biggest ironies of all. During the summer, the progressives and everyone were like supporting the Black Lives Matter, defund the police thing, and suddenly, like after the protest, though, like the same representatives and same senators who were against the police on the summer, they were making thank you notes to the police on the tunnels of the Capitol. Like how hypocrite and the amount of cognizant dissonance these people have. I really want to like legitimately like yell at those people how frustrated and how hypocrites and liars are, dude.
yeah, I wish there was some kind of interviewer who were saying, how can you be calling Americans terrorists, who didn't blow anything up or set any fires anywhere? How can you be calling those people terrorists? I really wish there was an interviewer somewhere asking Pelosi that, or any of these people, but they're not asking them that. They're just like agreeing with what they're saying and encouraging them to go even further. It's disgusting.
You know why? You know why they're not doing that though? Because they're carrying water for the Democratic Party, dude.
It's not just that, man. It's not just that. It's this whole fear programming. It's this whole, again, be afraid of your neighbors. Again, divide and conquer. Oh, those people. I talk about this from the beginning. They attach these labels, and once they attach the label, I talk about this endlessly. Then you know who they are. It doesn't matter anymore. All you need to know is that label that they attach to them. With these protesters in Washington, D.C., first it was anarchist. That's what the news media was calling them. With the Occupy protesters, it was they were public fornicators and public defecators and drug users. It's just all bullshit, and we can't buy into any of it. And when they go over the top with this shit like domestic, they're first they were anarchists, then they were Trump supporters, and now they're terrorists. It shows who the real threat to all of us is, because they want to be able to label any of us terrorists at a given moment, because that's the way they see us. If you are somehow confronting them and the evil that they do, and the spreading of their lives, and all of this, you are now considered a terrorist, and you have any rights that you may have had a moment ago don't exist anymore. So I can now shoot you in the face.
And you know that these people in media, they know what they're doing though, but they don't want to admit it though because they want to get a paycheck, dude. So they're just following orders right now, or they're doing it because that's what the wind blows right now. Let's criticize Trump. Let's blame the conservatives. Let's do this just because I want to make quick buck, dude. This is why people call this fake news media, dude.
Do you watch you watch movies? You watch movies, Manny?
I used to watch movies, though. But you know what? An interesting movie that maybe you watched that you definitely should watch. It was one of the James Bond's movies from the 90s. The World Is Not Enough, I believe. It's after the Golden Knight.
Yeah. Okay. No, there's a movie called They Live right? And it's a James Carpenter movie, and it's about aliens taking over the planet. And if you watch it, the news people are all in on it. They're all on the side of the aliens, you know? So it's very interesting.
Well, watch the James Bond movie, The War Is Not Enough. It's about this conglomerate guy who is making conflict on purpose to sell the news, though. And James Bond is trying to stop him, basically, though. But it's really interesting. It should be on Netflix or one of those things that when you don't have anything to do, though. But yeah, it kind of tells you, though, like, I don't want to say it, dude, but I mean, it's extremely frustrating, though. But I kind of feel like Trump was kind of right when it comes to the news media, dude.
What now?
The amount of gaslighting that these people have given you, it's just ridiculous, dude. I'm sorry, dude, but I'm just sad to say, dude, but I mean, sometimes you have to give it credit to the man, you know?
I don't give the man any credit. Fuck the man.
I don't know, dude. I mean, he was kind of right when it comes to the news media, dude, and
well,
really, I don't even watch TV anymore.
But then
he
says this shit about the media, and then he acts like, oh, but these guys are on our side, and you know, then the minute they say anything that he doesn't like, they're like fake news, you know. And just a minute ago they were reporting the real news, but now they're fake news, you know. It's just a matter of what works for him. So don't buy into this shit, dude.
Yeah, no, this is why I don't watch the news media anymore. I watch like YouTube commentary and every once in a while I have a few YouTubers that I follow that they give you more analytic, more objective news than even PBS. Like if you watch the Veritas video about the PBS lawyer, that he makes some comments saying that he wants to send conservative kids to re-education camps to invite them back.
Wow.
It's kind of messed up, dude.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen, Manny, so don't worry about it.
Hopefully it doesn't, though. But yeah, that's what I was trying to say, dude. There's a new moral panic going on, dude, and it's scary.
Look, it's scary, man. Look, here's the deal. It's scary, but again, you don't have to buy into the fear, all right? You know what I mean? Let everybody else be scared of it, and you go ahead and live your life, and trust me when I say we'll get through it. We always do.
Of course. But I mean, the only other thing is, like, first of all, thank God I have a job, so I can definitely keep myself busy. And the other one is like,
praise
I don't
Jesus.
know, it just makes you cynical and very nihilistic.
Right on. Well, good. I'm glad you're able to find the silver lining, Manny.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Max, gotta go.
Okay, thanks for calling. It's good to hear from you. Stay cool, man.
You too. Bye-bye.
And again, that's the whole point. You stay cool and we'll get through it. If you don't stay cool, then, you know, all bets are off because you lost your cool and you fucking did something stupid and now we're really fucked. So just stay cool and we'll get through it because we always do. And the truth is, we really don't have any other option. Stay cool. We'll get through it. I see this, like Manny said, they're overplaying their hand, right? They're like exposing themselves as the reason that they have to have 20,000 National Guard troops surrounding the Congress is because the Congress does evil in the name of good Americans. Not because Donald Trump said this. Donald Trump said blah, 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 blah. Donald Trump's a fucking piece of shit idiot. The Congress has been doing evil in the name of good Americans for far too long. And the good American people are tired of it. So yeah, we want to hold our politicians accountable, and this is how we do it. We go down to where they're doing the people's business, and we say, hey, we're watching you. But now they have National Guard troops, military surrounding capitals in every state across the nation. National Guard troops called out to surround the capitals. And again, what I see is a perfect setup for some type of an event a false flag kind of thing, a terrorist event. I see this is, and they have like everybody on alert for these white nationalists or whatever it is, you know, so they have like an easy person to put it on. But I see this with all of the state capitals where all the lawmakers do the people's business. I see them surrounded by military, which means that they're protected in order for them to be able to do the people's business, in which, you know, what, they decide that, oh, we can't have the Second Amendment anymore. There's just too many damn domestic terrorists everywhere. We can't have the Second Amendment. Just too many damn domestic terrorists. Look at all of them. They're fucking everywhere. Damn domestic terrorists. They gotta ruin it for everyone. Don't buy into the bullshit. We will and can and are holding these people accountable. And we're going to see it in a much bigger way, would be my guess. All right, if you want to call the numbers right there on the screen, it's 805-669-6397. I'm going to play a video for you about the National Guard being called out and surrounding all the capitals. And you can see there's like 20,000 National Guard sleeping in the halls of Congress. Very interesting. I'll play that for you, and I'll be right back, and we'll see if we got a caller then.
Starts now.
Happening now, a history-making day in the nation's capital. President Donald Trump is now the first in U.S. history to be impeached twice. In the final tally of the vote in the House of Representatives, 10 Republicans joined their Democratic colleagues to vote in favor of impeachment, including Washington Representatives Jamie Herrera Butler and Dan Newhouse, as well as the highest-ranking woman in the Republican Party, Liz Cheney of Wyoming. Many other Republicans criticized this impeachment process as being too rushed, while supporters say Trump needs to be held accountable for his role in last week's violent insurrection at the Capitol. Chief political correspondent Scott Thuman has more from Washington, D.C.
The resolution is adopted without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
History on the House floor in the first ever impeachment of a president for a second time.
Those insurrectionists were not patriots. They were domestic terrorists sent here by the president with words such as a cry to fight like hell.
Democrats anxious to charge the president with crime in what was a crime scene just 1 week earlier. Incitement of insurrection, they alleged.
If these actions are not worthy of impeachment, then what is an impeachable offense?
While mostly a partisan fight, it wasn't all Democrats versus Republicans, some in the GOP crossing the aisle.
There is no excuse for President Trump's actions. That is why, with a heavy heart and clear resolve, I will vote yes on these articles of impeachment.
As debate continued, the president issued a statement saying there must be no violence, no lawbreaking. I call on all Americans to help ease tensions and calm tempers. Meanwhile, so many National Guard members working around the clock. During breaks, they took turns sleeping in the hallways, and tensions running high even between lawmakers forced to go through metal detectors before entering the chamber. Remember, while only a simple majority is needed in the House for impeachment, on the Senate side, a conviction requires 2/3 of that body. Obviously, a much tougher standard. And as of now, it appears that a Senate trial wouldn't begin until after Joe Biden takes office. On Capitol Hill, I'm Scott Thuman.
All but one of our state's congressional representatives voted to impeach President Trump today. The lone no vote came from Republican Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rodgers. KEMO's Steve McCarran is live with reaction and their reasons behind their votes. Steve?
Yeah, Mary, I really don't think it's much of a surprise here that all 7 of our state's Democratic congressional representatives voted to impeach the president today. What is taking some by surprise is just how many Republicans crossed the aisle to support it. As you heard Mary mention at the top of the newscast, 10 Republicans in all voted to impeach, including 2 from our state, Republicans Dan Newhouse and Jamie Herrera Butler. Both of them spoke on the House floor today. Take a look here. Newhouse faulted Democrats for not speaking out about rioters who barricaded Seattle PD's city's East Precinct last summer. He added during his comments today that many people, including him, are to blame for not speaking out sooner before that violent mob stormed the U.S. Capitol building a week ago. He says the president did nothing to stop what happened in D.C.
That is why, with a heavy heart and clear resolve, I will vote yes on these articles of impeachment.
This president has done more to divide this country, in my view, and I'll be glad when he's no longer president.
That was Congressman Rick Larson, who told me his support for impeaching the president had nothing to do with the stances that he's taken on issues of policy, adding it had everything to do with what led up to and the actual storming of the Capitol last Wednesday. Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rodgers, a Trump supporter, said what happened last week was unlawful and unacceptable. She believes the president showed a complete lack of leadership, but she did not vote to impeach him today. In a statement that she released after that vote was taken, she said, based on my assessment of constitutionally protected speech, I do not believe his words constitute an incitement of violence as laid out in Supreme Court precedent. Now, coming up new tonight at 6, you're going to hear more from some of our lawmakers, including Representative Pramila Jayapal. I just spoke with her moments ago. If you might remember, she was actually in the House chambers when those rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol a week ago. Back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you. And as we reported, any impeachment trial in the Senate will likely happen sometime after President Trump leaves office 7 days from now. Today, current Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said a fair trial before inauguration is not possible. A new statement from Senator Chuck Schumer, who will become the Majority Leader on January 20th, says, quote, make no mistake, there will be an impeachment trial in the United States Senate, and if the president is convicted, there will be a vote on barring him from running again. The president is still banned on most social media platforms, but he posted this video to the White House Twitter account after the impeachment vote. He did not directly address his second impeachment, but called for an end to political violence.
No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence. No true supporter of mine could ever disrespect law enforcement or our great American flag. No true supporter of mine could ever threaten or harass their fellow Americans. If you do any of these things, you are not supporting our movement, you're attacking it.
This is a live look at the U.S. Capitol tonight, where members of the National Guard have been stationed throughout the day as federal and local agents investigate potential threats of violence. Today, we've learned as many as 20,000 National Guard troops will be on hand on and around Inauguration Day. Each troop will carry a pistol and a rifle to protect lawmakers as well as the Capitol. The FBI is also warning of possible violence over the next week at all 50 state capitals. There will be heightened security in Olympia through at least Inauguration Day.
Did you guys catch that? All the National Guards are armed with a sidearm and a rifle, right? I'm pretty sure when they were going by, all those guys land on the floor there. I saw a 50 caliber sniper rifle too. But again, what I'm saying is when I talk about this false flag thing, what I see is a possible coming false flag. What I see is everything being in place, perfectly positioned for a false flag. And this is the only reason I bring it up. I don't bring it up to scare you. I bring it up so that hopefully if something does happen over the next few days, that you'll be able to see beyond whatever the bullshit narrative is. I know the vast majority of you guys are much brighter than these news models. But I want, again, if something does happen, I want it to click in your brain. What was Mark saying? Oh yeah, everything was in place. All the blocks were perfectly in place for a false flag to happen, for them to be able to pass the Patriot Act too, for them to be able to say, oh, we can't have all these guns in the country anymore because of, all the domestic terrorists everywhere from shore to shining shore, right? And then the National Guard, the military, is in place to protect all these lawmakers as they sell the rest of your freedom down the river Styx. All right, so if anybody would care to follow me and do exactly as you see, now is the time when we smoke marijuana. Who likes smoking the ganja? This guy. Okay, so there's the phone number, people. I am all out of videos. Actually, I have the one video about the veteran that was shot in the neck by whoever we don't know yet. I have the video of that. But yeah, dude, it's gonna hit 40,000 by tomorrow. By the 19th, it's gonna hit 50,000. Okay, I already told you this. All right. So so anyways, if anybody wants to call, the number's right there on the screen, 805-669-6397, 805 Mox News. It's always better when you call. That's what this show is about giving a voice to the people, which I am very glad to have a platform to do, and it would be awesome to hear your voice while we still have that platform available to us. Because I have a looming threat that there's, that the people, the censorship hammer is coming smashing down. YouTube apparently in the last 24 hours has become another social network to ban Donald Trump from participating, which is just bizarro, dude. So, the things that I have to say, I don't know. I'm really glad to hear that the other world leaders are chastising YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, because it should. I mean, who are they gonna censor next? They're gonna censor Andrea Merkel. Because they can. They don't like what she's saying now. Macron or whatever. I mean, this is not. If they want the people, right? If they want the president of the United States to use this platform, Twitter or Facebook, to communicate with the people, then they have zero right to censor that speech. Okay? The people are tuning in to hear the leader of the free world, and some fucking peon sitting at a keyboard decides he's going to go God mode and say, yeah, I'm more powerful than the leader of the free mode. You don't get to talk to people because I say so. Because I say so. I'm almost out of tasty beverage too, so you should call now if you want to call. Tasty beverage. I gotta do a little bit of cleanup for my tent, and I'm gonna start I'm gonna try and start my garden this weekend. We're gonna do the dark matter dragon and strain the dark matter dragon. That's a daytime weed, and then we'll do the tombs, which will be our nighttime medicine, because I don't sleep right now, and it's really it's not something new. It's not right now that I don't sleep. I've never really slept since I was little. And I think it was always probably something to do with like, oh, it's your bedtime, time to go to bed, And somehow in my brain, it was like, you can't tell me when to go to bed, Again, this is who I've been since I was little. It was like, stop telling me what to do. I don't want to go to bed. Okay, I'll just go in my bed and I'll just lay awake all night. And I don't know if I trained myself to do that or what, but now I don't sleep, so so I got that going for me. But I'm really enjoying the shows. I think that we have been doing pretty darn good work since we started again back to 5 nights a week. So we're doing this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Cranberry juice. I'm drinking cranberry juice. We're doing this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. It's always better when you're here, so thanks very much for tuning in. Hopefully you will set your calendar so that you know that, hey, it's 7 p.m. Pacific time, Mox is on the air. And hopefully we'll get more callers. I really do want to have you guys' voices. I mean, this is why I'm doing this. It's not so that I can hear the sound of my own voice. It's not so that I can tell you to be concerned about a possible false flag, because that's not what I'm doing. I'm not telling you to be concerned about something that may or may not happen. The reason I'm telling you about me seeing, the conditions being perfect for some type of an event is because if something does happen, then you go, wait a minute, what was that? What would a mock say? Right, it looked like everything was set up just right for this. What was he saying? Not so that you can worry about it. I don't want you worrying about stuff. I want you enjoying the moment. I want you living your life in this moment. Whatever happens in the future is going to happen. None of us know what that is. So don't fear it, because pretty much no matter what happens, we always do get through it. We don't really have an alternative option. What we're going to do, just all give up? Okay, you win, we give up. So, not me, baby. I got 50 years of WoW behind me, and who knows how many more coming this way. So, anyways, I'm getting hungry. I'm pretty much out of videos. I'm out of tasty beverage. I'll tell you what. I'm going to play the video about the veteran that got shot in the neck in the Capitol Hill occupation, because I want to keep this story in people's minds, because we don't know who it is that shot that person in the neck, and I think that's this unarmed female 14-year military veteran. We don't know who it is who did that, and I think justice demands that we do find out that person's name, identity. So I'm gonna keep playing this story for a while. You can count on it.
We're learning more tonight about a San Diego woman shot and killed Wednesday when, according to authorities, pro-Trump rioters breached the U.S. Capitol building. Capitol Police publicly identified Ashley Babbitt as the woman who was killed. And Babbitt's husband, Aaron, told our sister station his wife was a San Diego native and spent 14 years in the military between the Air Force and the D.C. National Guard. Babbitt said his wife went to Washington, D.C. to take part in Wednesday's protest, where she met up with friends. He said he sent her a status check text message about 30 minutes before the shooting and never heard back.
She didn't have any weapons on her, and I don't know why she had to die in the people's house. That's our house. It's everybody's house. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. I don't know why she had to die inside the house. I saw the pictures. I had to see the pictures of my wife dying on the news.
Well, the chief of the Metropolitan Police Department said in a news conference today the woman was shot by one Capitol Police officer with a service weapon after protesters breached the fencing.
She loved her country, and she was doing what she thought was right to support her country, and joining up with people, like-minded people that also love their president and their country. And, she was voicing her opinion, and she got killed for it.
Babbitt was transported to a local hospital where she later died. The officer was placed on administrative leave in accordance with police policy. Police also say 3 others died during medical emergencies.
Righty. And again, this is the way that the people inside the people's house supposedly doing the people's business. This is exactly the way that they feel about you. I am going to point my gun at your face. Why am I pointing my gun at your face? Because I don't care if you live or die. And that's how they feel about you. You are a terrorist. That's what they're saying on the news. That's what that says in the Patriot Act and the National Defense Authorization Act, which gives them permission to spy on each and every one of you. It says the reason they have permission to do that is because you are a potential enemy combatant. That's who you are to them. And it's really, really important that you realize that. Okay? So, and again, in this way, we can, if we could all recognize that, we could all come together and say, we understand why they see us as enemy combatants, because if we came together, we could take our government back. So yeah, they see that as a threat. So they see us as potential enemy combatants. I get it now. So let's get together and be the force that we should be. We should be taking our government back because it's a rogue, out of control government that's spreading evil around the world. And if we don't take it back, some other force will see it as necessary to do so. So we're clear. Hello, caller.
Hello, Mike. This is Beam Me Up from YouTube. You know, I called you yesterday. Hello.
Hello.
I'm driving a time machine today, and you know, just rolling in through like the today and how it's going, and seeing what everybody's talking about. And actually, I'm feeling up. I'm feeling a positive vibe to the actual entire world, how it's going right now. How do you what do you think about that?
I'm in the moment. The world is gonna take care of itself. There's only so much I can do. I do what it is that I can do. I make my neighborhood a better place. Village, this community,
right?
This community in which I live,
yes,
I have touched greatly in a very large way, and I believe it's been in a very positive way. Yes.
I hope so, dude. You're awesome. Okay, I want to talk about which way is the world spinning right now, Mike? Is it spinning in a clockwise direction, or is it spinning in a counterclockwise way that it's got? You know what I mean? Which way is it spinning?
I don't know what you mean. It's spinning the way it's always spun, which is on the side of the elite, of the rich, and totally against the working class.
Well, I don't know. That's a mental spin. I think you're talking about. I'm talking about the actual spin of the Earth.
Uh-huh.
Do you think it's spinning clockwise, or do you think it's spinning counterclockwise? This is a trick question.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it depends on your perspective. Are you looking down, or are you looking up?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can you see? Can you see how the time machine works right there?
Sure.
I don't know. It's a fun thing to contemplate, right?
Which way the world is spinning?
Yeah.
Not really.
We describe it as clockwise.
Right. See, this is the problem. Is that you wanna break it down so that you can think that you can somehow understand it. The way the world is, the way the world is, the way the world is spinning is the way that the world has always been spinning.
Hey, we have to put labels on that, right?
No.
So we can understand
the labels
right?
get in the way of everything. No, it's spinning like it's always spun. It's spinning the way it's
Part of the
always
lesson
spun.
today.
There isn't a question. There isn't something to. You're like, but it's interesting to question and wonder about, right? No, there isn't anything there. There's no there. You know, it's spinning the way it's always spun.
There, bro.
No, it's spinning
here.
exactly
I'm
the
just
way it's
saying.
always spun. There isn't a debate. There isn't some kind of thing to learn. It's just the way it's always done.
There's always something new to learn, sir.
Okay.
I just have to say that. I love you, Mike. Am I still here? I'll quit being like, I love you, dude. I'll get off of this for tonight. Oh, I've given you enough. I love you. I love your audience. This is fun to do.
Hey,
So that's why
Mr.
I'm
Scott,
here.
it's always good to hear from you. It's always better when you're here, so keep tuning in,
Yeah,
man.
we are here for you. Like, everybody, like, we drive time machines. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's okay.
We're going to what we're going to do, I'm going to tell you. This is the plan, right? Proceed forward with respect. Give respect, get respect. That's how it works. In the time continuum,
That's
dude,
how
for
respect.
real.
That's how respect works. If you're a police officer and you want respect from the people that you protect and serve,
doesn't matter who
then
you are.
Then you act with respect towards those people. If you do not act with respect towards them, how do you expect to get respect in return?
Yes. Give respect, get respect. It's very simple.
You don't get
All right.
respect for being a bully.
For real. I love you, Mike. I'm gonna get off of this.
All right, man.
Peace.
See ya. Okay.
Actually, you want to take a bong rip? I'll take a little snuffle off
No, I'm good.
my esophagus.
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah, I gotta get some food
All right.
before I smoke any more weed.
All right. Peace, man. I love you.
All right, stay cool, man.
Hey.
All right, I am hungry. If anybody else wants to call, the number's there. I am out of videos. I played all my videos, including the one that I've been playing every night this week. And I think it's from last week, actually, about the vet that got killed by we don't know who yet, that got shot in the neck and left to bleed out. She really wasn't left to bleed out. There was a lot of people, a lot of other protesters who immediately surrounded her and did their best to protect her and keep her alive. It just wasn't an option because she was shot in such a way as to make sure that she died. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to make sure that that person stops in their tracks. It was, we're going to make sure that person stops breathing. And that scumbag needs to be identified and held accountable for murdering an unarmed woman, 14-year military veteran. So, you know. But that guy is not a terrorist. All right, I'm going to go get some food, you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, every Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back tomorrow night. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. So remember, one of these days, this war is going to end. Stay cool till then.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.